Welcome into tonight's Ryco performance, a Monday night top split action from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I tried to combine that for whatever reason. I'm Austin Edstrom standing alongside Sheldon Atkins with Taylor Burris behind the production booth here tonight. Very historic racetrack here in Wilkes County, North Carolina. Cannot wait to get this one kicked off. Still got the old pavement out here on iRacing, so we're going to see those tires get chewed up like crazy. We do not have the repave ready yet, so we're going to have some pretty crazy action. A lot of comers and goers. The tire wear is going to wear out like crazy. Sheldon, what do you think of the old chewed out surface here from the North Wilkesboro Speedway?
Well, I haven't had the chance to really run this place yet, but I'm looking forward to it this week. They kind of brought it back when I was on that little hiatus. And just the story, man, of this track, like, we can't emphasize that enough. This place was left to rot for decades, literally as long as I'd been alive at the time. And Junior says he wants to scan it. They come pull weeds. They run a scan. COVID happens. They decide, hey, let's put it on during COVID. Run the Invitational. Next thing you know, we're all-star racing here this week, man. It's amazing.
Well, Sheldon, what do you think about the keys of the race today? What do you got on offer for us?
Well, I got a couple things. Importantly, situational awareness, always a huge factor. It's going to be really big here too, because you're going to have a lot of people laying on your bumper all the way through the run, and those instant rates, they stack up. Get too many of them, you get to go home early. So that's going to be important. Also, you want to use the chrome horn any chance you can. You want to get up to the front. The longer you're in the back of the pack, the more of a health hazard it is that you're not going to make it through this thing. And then, obviously, as any short track, lap traffic chaos is going to be a huge factor as well.
So a couple very important points that you got to watch out for here from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I mean, I really can't say enough about this place. You know, you touched on a lot of it about the historic value of it, and, you know, what they've done to get this place up and operational so that we can get it back, you know, on the service and some crazy hard racing in real life too. So looking forward to seeing later this weekend what the different tire options are going to look like in terms of the option tire that they're going to be running for the first time, or well, I guess you should say second, right? They tried at a mile and a half a couple years ago and didn't work too well, but hopefully for the short tracks it'll bring us some good racing. But here on the sim tonight, just the one tire compound on offer for everybody, but I guarantee you we're going to see some crazy tire wear, and we're not really going to have to worry about having different compounds. This is a weird week, right? We've got two different racetracks on offer for you tonight. The A Open from North Wilkesboro, the very historic racetrack, and then, well, we're going way up to the North Midwest, I suppose, up in Wisconsin for the Road America Raceway later for the B Open. So a little bit of a different schedule this week than we're normally used to seeing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. I have even less experience with Road America, so you'll be pulling me along. You'll be pulling me along for that broadcast, brother.
I do like me some road courses in stock cars, not in real life anymore because the next gen sucks at road courses in real life. But luckily, we get to watch the B car take that on. So the Xfinity Series from the Road America. I don't know if it's Raceway or Speedway, to be honest with you. It might just be called Road America. But I think it's going to be great, man. I think it's going to be an intense race later tonight, even though that'll likely spread out a good bit. Here at North Wilkesboro, we're not going to see too much spreading out. I mean, we got 175 laps on offer for you tonight. That's a long race, got to be honest. So we got a lot of action from North Wilkesboro. It might even bleed over into the B Open, so we might be a little late to calling that one. We're going to run into our broadcast picks with still over a minute and a half left in qualifying. I think I'm going to go with Sean Conklin. I feel like that's a safe, solid pick. Sean's been quick. I feel like he hasn't been quite as quick as he was at the end of last season, but I think he's going to figure this thing out and stick that thing in victory lane here tonight.
Man, you took my pick.
Get screwed.
Apparently, man. Dang. All right, well, I mean, you know, it's a really hard pick. I'm really having to dig through the field here, but, you know, I think Roman's been on one heck of a tear. Not trying to look at y'all with that one, but I think Roman's going to be somebody to look for.
He's won the last two, right?
Oh, yeah. Dude's been a rocket as long as I've been up here anyway.
That's a pretty solid pick from Sheldon. And then, well, another solid pick, Garrett Maines for Taylor Burris. That's not a surprising pick whatsoever. I can tell you that right now. And that's probably the one that's going to be in victory lane if I had to bet out of the three. But it's North Wilkesboro. You never know how the short track scene is going to play out. So looking forward to getting this one started. Still 20 seconds left in qualifying. It looks like Sean Conklin is going to be on the pole, and I believe, goodness gracious, the top 9, totally count, top 10 spots are all Team Ryco.
I mean, that's not too surprising to see, though. Ken
It's
Byron.
not, but man,
look, man, you got to look back at it historically. Ken Byron, his bread and butter was always short tracks. Comes from a short track family, and honestly, when he first started into the whole Ryco thing, when I, a little bit before I joined over there for a little while, that was their main focus was the short track, the late models, the modifieds, and stuff like that. So that don't shock me too much.
it doesn't. I mean, it only shocks me because it's the top 10, man. It's all of the top 10. That's ridiculous. But we're gonna run through that top 10 and the rest of the starting grid right now. It is a Ryco Performance top 10 lockout. I mean, good God. Sean Conklin up on the pole. Roger Pierce in second on the outside row. Jacob Schneider is gonna line up third. Garrett Maines rounds out row number 2. James Houghton starting in the 5th place position with Paul Bergoli in 6th. Joseph Squared in 7th with Joshua Watson in 8th. Miller Bonds is going to be starting in the 9th place position, and rounding out the Ryco top 10 is going to be John Payson.
In 11th place, we have Patrick Gitter. That's a good start, guys. Wind it back. I'll catch flack for that, I'm sure. 11th place, we got Patrick Gitter. On his outside, we have Jeffrey Taylor, followed by Jordan Schmeetz, Dave Long, Trevor Clay, Alex Murray in 16th. Vincent Crow's in 17th. Outside of him is going to be Peyton Schneider, followed by Blaine Schneider in 19th. Rounding out your top 20 is Kenny Powell.
Starting in the 21st place spot is going to be Sean Rogers with Nicholas Froman in 22nd. 23rd is going to be Drew Blaze with Ryan Strunk in 24th, and Justin Selway Jr. is going to be starting in the 25th place spot. Everybody 22nd on back. So from Nicholas Froman on back, they did not lay down a Q lap. So there's going to be a couple guys trying to make their way through the field from the back of the pack. Again, I can't talk about the top 10 lockout enough. That's I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. I can't even fathom that. Like, okay, Ryco's got some really quick guys, right? We all know that. They build really quick setups, but to lock out the top 10, and I mean, obviously we gotta wait until or we gotta wait to see what happens in the race. A lot of tire fall off here, so you gotta make sure you're good on the long run. But I mean, I'd be willing to bet a good couple of these guys are gonna be hanging in and around the top 5 to 10 the entire night.
Look, man, the cream always rises. Plus, it's going to be hard to pick up spots. I figure we're going to get a lot of yellows in this. We all know
I agree with that.
Go on here.
I think we need to talk to Patrick and see if he needs a stage name, because you might want to sell that idea to him. Patrick Glitter. We could definitely send him to Las Vegas with that. That'd
be a sick looking car. Like you could do some stuff with that.
I wasn't even talking about a car. You could, like I said, stage name, man. Go out to Las Vegas, put on a dress, Patrick Glitter.
Hey, there we go.
Oh boy,
we got some Mikey calls over here, I see.
Hey man, you got to do what you got to do, right? If it comes to mind, it's coming out of the mouth.
Look, 13th and 14th almost sent me through the wall, so I know we got to keep it kind of PG, so I'm gonna leave it.
Well, yeah, but we can go PG-14 instead of 13, so we can go a little bit. Yeah, we can go a little bit over.
Look, we have a row that literally is Long and Schmeetz. Okay, I'm out.
Well, as Long and Schmeetz get ready to kick it off from a little bit further back, Sean Conklin on the front row is stomping on the gas pedal, and he's taking us under green for the Ryco Performance Monday night top split as they're all working side by side through turns 1 and 2. Paul Bergoli way up the racetrack. Roger Pierce, who started on the outside of row number 1, way outside into the fence, coming out of turn 2. And Garrett Maines is going to cycle through to the 2nd place spot after starting in 4th after just 1 lap.
A little bit of 3-wide action there on the first lap. I think that's what we're going to see for most of this race. I feel bad for Pierce. He got kind of shot back there a couple spots because of that.
Jacob Schneider kind of running an unorthodox line, getting down into the corner. I think he was just trying to give Garrett Maines a little bit of space for the 3rd place spot, or running in the 3rd place spot currently. Paul Bergoli a little bit further back, protecting the bottom side of the racetrack. I've seen some people run some really unorthodox lines. I think turns 1 and 2 really lends itself to being a little weird. I think you can make a lot of different things work, but around 3 and 4, it just seems like you got to be hooked up to the bottom side of the racetrack and let that thing rotate down on the bottom. But in 1 and 2, I do think we're going to see some differing lines and some opportunities to pass as we're looking at Miller Bonds, or sorry, yeah, that is Miller Bonds, trying to get around the outside of Paul Bergoli. Bonds and Joseph Squared, their paint schemes always confuse the hell out of me.
Yeah, and like you're talking about unorthodox lines, let's talk about how unorthodox of a track this is. This surface, at this point, I think is about, what, 30 plus years old? And on top of it, you're going uphill down one end, downhill down the other. Like, this is up there with Darlington when it comes to unique as far as speedways go.
And we get them back to back. How about that? That's pretty sweet. That's pretty nifty.
It's amazing.
Let's get swifty. Oh, too wide. Somebody way up by the wall. See, that's what I'm talking about, unorthodox line. I mean, that really shouldn't work way the hell out there, but whoever that is in the 21, I think it's Trevor Clay on the very outside of the racetrack, trying to get something out of it. I see a little scuff on his right front, but they're 3 wide just about. Roman was trying to find the middle. It looks like he's going to find the middle down into turns 1 and 2 this time. But Clay, they're wrecking a little bit further back. I think Sean Rogers has got sent around in the back towards turn 1 and 2. He's sitting backwards coming out of turn number 2 right now, and he does get passed by the iRacing pace car, so he might end up being a lap down, trying to get it out of the grass before Sean Conklin passes him. So Rogers may be okay. It looks like he's getting to go by the pace car, but that was pretty close to him going a lap down.
Yeah, it's not how you want to start this thing out, but lap 8 at 175, just strap back in there, get a little bit of the damage fixed, get some new tires on it when you get a chance, ride around, let these guys kind of weasel their way out, because we're going to see a lot more of that as this thing goes on. It'll be all right. It'll buff.
Sean Rogers actually does have to stick behind the pace car, but he's in front of all of our leaders, so I do think he'll get the wave around at the last minute. And I don't think he's got a little bit of left front damage, but we kind of were talking about how this is probably going to be a little bit of a wreck fest. Not too totally bad, but I do think we're going to get a good handful of cautions. So Sean Rogers will be hoping for another one of those here momentarily. So he can come. Well, actually, he's coming down pit road right now. I don't know if he necessarily had to do that or if that was the right call, but he's coming down regardless and taking 4 tires.
He might have crabbed it a little bit there.
You might be right. He's got a little bit of right rear damage too that I had overlooked. Yeah, so they're definitely. Could be an issue behind the wheel of that 33 down pit road right now, so might as well come down and get the damage fixed. And to be fair to him, he'll be the first car on the 1 lap down, so it doesn't really change too much, I suppose. He just needs the caution and he'll get right back on the lead lap, just like we were talking about. So for Sean, just kind of a tough break early on, but still a long way to go in this thing, man. Like you mentioned, 175 laps. It's gonna take us a little bit tonight.
Oh yeah, and also there's what's the over and under on it going a little bit longer than 175 too,
Oh boy, I mean, that's got to be 80% chance that we have a green, white, checkered, right? I mean, these guys are going to go absolutely crazy if we get any type of caution under 20 laps to go. Like, if we get a caution under that point that ends a long green flag run or whatever, I think it's going to be a cautions scenario.
Yeah, and also, let me rephrase here, too, because, like, this is not a slight on the drivers in here. These drivers are amazing. The thing is, on iRacing, we kind of got to... It's a little harder to make contact on here without absolutely killing somebody. Because you got the little bit of net code with every bit of contact you make. You've also got the fact that you can't really see what you're doing as well as you can in the real car in real life.
Yeah, unless you got the triple monitor setup, which, I mean, out of percentage-wise, how many of these guys do you think actually has that? Maybe 20? Maybe 15?
Absolutely. And there's just a lot of other factors, too, that, make close quarters racing like this a little more difficult on here than it is in real life. Plus, we don't have the experience those Cup guys have on Sundays.
All right, we're about to get ready to go racing. Ignore that replay symbol up on the top. I don't believe we're actually in a replay right now. The pace car is about to pull down off of the racetrack, and we're going to get back under the green flag on lap number 13. Sean Conklin back to the gas and easily up in front of his teammate Garrett Maines, and Jacob Schneider's trying to follow him through on the inside of turns 1 and 2. But Maines is really, really driving hard on the outside, trying to hang on to the spot. He's going to do it over Schneider.
As they start single file out down into turns 3 and 4 here, not a whole lot of action going on up at the front of the pack. We got a lot of double file and a little bit of 3-wide racing back here behind these guys, though. Honestly, I think Conklin just right now just getting the gas, ride it out, but Maines is starting to hound him here.
Yeah, Haynes is definitely keeping him on, or Maines is definitely keeping him honest. Oh, Joshua Watson goes spinning through 3 and 4, collects Paul Bergoli. Another driver goes around in the back. Oh, and Joshua Watson gets ARCA braked in the middle of the corner. T-bone. Couldn't quite tell exactly what kicked that off. Just saw the 0-1 get sent around. And, well, that's the caution Sean Rogers was looking for, unless he got involved in it.
How do we have more throwback paints this week than we did last week at Darlington?
I think people just haven't taken them off yet.
Oh, okay.
I imagine, right? I mean, I feel like that's the right answer.
We got a good throwback to Quinn Houff over here.
That's never a good throwback. You do not throw back to Quinn Houff. Who's in the Quinn Houff tribute paint scheme? Who is it?
I know, we got to figure it out though.
Oh, it's Vincent Crowe. I'm not surprised about that. I've talked to him about that a year ago. That's I can't stand it.
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, I see him post about those on Facebook all the time.
I think he's buddies with him or something, or knows him in real life in some capacity. So then I felt bad for saying that, but you know what? I'm going to double down. Get the freaking Quinn Houff paint scheme out of here.
Look, the fact that I share a state with that guy, it's not something I brag about often.
I mean, come on, Vincent. Now, I got to be honest, though. That paint's kind of hot. I like the colors.
I just don't like the white on the front. I don't know. That's just me, though.
Okay,
it
I
dates
can
it
see
too
that.
much.
I can see
It
that.
dates it too much.
Say it dates it too much
Yeah.
for a throwback scheme. Isn't that kind of the point?
It just looks too much like the bottle. I don't like the bottle. I use mane and tail, but I don't like the bottle.
I don't know what the hell mane and tail even is, to be honest. Well, I mean, I imagine it's something to do with your hair, but
That's why you don't have the cool hair like me.
I guess. Well, that's why I'm balding.
Ah.
At 26, it's nice. It's very fun. Throwback.
You sure that's not just from, student loans?
I mean, those are definitely looming large too. That's fair. I can't disagree with that. There might be a little bit of stress where I'm pulling out my hair.
No, I'm definitely not going to help you with that, I'm sure.
We're going to use this opportunity to pull over Mr. Ryco himself. Ken, do you have a copy?
Yeah, man. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. What do you think about the racing so far? Well, I guess we haven't gotten too much racing so far, but what do you think about the top 10 lockout from your guys on qualifying?
I may or may not knew that was gonna happen. We really, I love short track racing. We really put a lot of time in the car this week because I know that qualifying is going to be important, and you're going to have to try to miss the mess, and if you're stuck in the back, it's not going to work out well. So we went back to some of our old short track ideas this week, and it's paying off.
Let me give you just a second give me just a second to call the restart after they get cycled back out. We'll continue our conversation about your ridiculous lockout. But Sean Conklin gets back to the gas. They're side by side for second, coming down to the turns 1 and 2. Schneider again on the inside of Maines, but I think we're going to see about the same thing that we saw in the last restart. He cycles out behind and settles into that third place position as, well, Joseph Square way up the racetrack through 3 and 4, trying to find another groove up there. But yeah, I honestly, even if you knew it was coming or not, like whether you had the inkling or you had the goalie gets sent sideways through 1 and 2, I believe he might have gotten tagged by Gitter there through 1 and 2. Well, they're going to interrupt me just about every time. I'm not surprised to see the cautions, but this proves your point, right? You knew qualifying was going to be unbelievably important, so I'm sure you put a lot of time into that. And even if you had a feeling that you were going to get a heck of a qualifying performance, your driver still had to go out there and perform on the racetrack to get the good starting position. So, what does that speak to? I mean, obviously your setup building talent and what you guys are doing over there in the practice sessions, but also to, the driver talent that you have behind the wheel. You can put it doesn't matter how fast a setup is if you give it to a slow guy, right? But it seems like y'all got a good group of guys over there that can, stick it up at the top of the field week in, week out.
Yeah, I'm really proud of my guys. They're very committed, and they really grind the stone when it comes to preparing for the new week. And testament is Roger's a new, kind of a new member of our house team. He went P2 in qualifying, so it's just a matter of the time that they put in and the commitment that they have, to make sure that our customers have, the best thing on the market available to them. And we really, take time updating the car throughout the week. And I mean, I'm still not done working on the car. I think I have about another 10th to find in qualifying. And I think that it's there, based upon what we saw in qualifying here. And, we can hit 2s and 3s in race trim. So I definitely think there's probably another 10th or so in qualifying pace.
And that's scary for the competition, because our top qualifier that was not on a Ryco setup today was a 18.36, and your fastest was an 18.0. So you had 10 guys in that 0.3 of a second range before anybody could even get in there, and you're saying you've got a whole another 1/10 of a second in it, and you can run race trim times at the same pace or quicker than our other fastest qualifier in here. I mean, that's ridiculous. I imagine y'all put in just a ton of hours in this week to perfect the setup, and to hear it's not even perfect yet is a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not at the level these guys are on 1.5 miles, or the other tracks. But on the short tracks, I can really kind of get in and grind elbows, and I think that that's a real benefit since I'm the one building the car. So I think that's been a huge benefit this week.
Sean Conklin back on the restart, able to jump out to the lead over Garrett Maines this time. The front three cycle out a little bit earlier, able to get it sorted out before we get out of turn number 2. Still fighting side by side further back in the pack. Well, Ken, what do you expect from your guys this week, and especially tonight? It's a little weird having to go to a couple of different racetracks. I kind of want your opinion on the setup building side of things. How difficult is it whenever the schedule lines up in such a way that you're running a short track like North Wilkesboro on the A Open side, but then you go over to the B Open and you've got the Xfinity cars over at Road America for a road course?
I enjoy it. I really enjoy the variety of racetracks, because the racing kind of gets stale when you're at 1.5 miles, right? And constant week after week, and it's just a matter of on and off the throttle, to where these tracks kind of bring out, the talent levels of who is what, right? They require you to drive the car. So I really enjoy these types of tracks. I also think that these type of tracks help people learn and sharpen different tool sets and skill sets of their braking and trail braking and throttle control. So I think for the community as a whole, going to tracks like this, if we could get green flag runs with a little bit of give and take, I think that this would help people flourish. And having a road course on this week is kind of nice, because it gives you kind of something different if you don't like running short tracks. I got a few of my A Open guys that will be in the next broadcasted B Open race, because they enjoy racing road courses. So, but I will tell you, if Garrett doesn't find a 5th gear, I think it's a pretty safe bet if anybody took the 54 car to win.
I did. I picked Sean Conklin. I just had a feeling this week he hasn't, and this is weird for me to say, but he hasn't, I felt like, performed at the same performance level as what we expected from him last season, right? He was winning just about every week as we got a caution on the racetrack again. This time he's been consistent top 5, top 3 on speed, but he just hasn't been in victory lane, at least the races that we broadcasted. Is there, I don't know if there's necessarily any reason, but I'm just I'm surprised that Conklin hasn't really been as contending up for the race lead week in and week out like we saw at the end of last season.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. And Sean's commitment level last season, was a bit higher than what he's been so far this year. He's got real life racing, going on, and taking some of that time away where, Jacob and Vroman have been, putting in hundreds of laps with me before the season starts, or before the weeks start. And, they have a little bit more experience on the set, right? But this week, Sean, we worked on the setup Friday and Saturday night, and as we got to the end of the week, I think it was about a second faster than Garrett in the 30-lap run sheet. So it literally, I think, is just kind of like a true testament of I think that it's possible for anybody to be competitive, right? Is if you put in the time. and this car requires a lot of, time and focus to kind of keep that edge.
Well, Ken, I'm going to ask you just one more question before I let you go, and I appreciate you coming up here because it's kind of given us something to talk about while we've had the Caution Fest 175 so far. But, that's kind of what's going to lead me into my question. Whenever you're building a setup for a track like this, you touched on it earlier about the cautions, right? Coming into this week, knowing or at least feeling like it's going to be that way, do you set up the car more for the short run, or do you make sure that it can live on the long run and just trust your drivers to be able to run it as absolutely fast as possible from the drop of the green flag?
So one thing I take a lot of pride in is like our customer support and like the variation that we offer our customers. So, coming into this week, like I know like what we could be heading into depending on, whether we get 15 lap runs, we get 20 lap runs, 30 lap runs. I went through the time this week building a setup, that was good for 30 and beyond. I went building a setup that was good for 1 through 20 and a setup that was good through 1 through 15. So like as our customers see how the week goes, they can pick and choose, what they think is going to be best for them throughout the week.
And to hear that whenever you've got 10 different guys starting up on the top 10 positions, it'll be interesting to kind of see which ones are on that long run, which ones are on the short run, and whether that kind of creates some inter-team rivalries throughout the week here from North Wilkesboro. And I'm sure it'll be really interesting for the NIS race a little bit later tonight or later this week. Whenever, potentially. Oh man, I completely forgot about that. My goodness, I can't stand All-Star Week for that. That's so frustrating. I was looking forward to it this week. But regardless, the A Open's going to be fun all week to follow what y'all can do, and hopefully we can get a couple of those green flag runs tonight, and especially later in the week. Oh, the 2 leaders coming together just a little bit right whenever I've got to sign you off, or I was about to sign you off. Maine's just about got Conklin and took him out into 1 and 2. I was talking about the inter-team rivalries, so I'm not really too surprised to see those two getting together. They're unbelievably quick and challenge each other just about week in, week out, so that might not be the last time we see them come together tonight. What do you think?
No, Garrett's kind of Sean's mentor. Sean tries to, learn a lot from Garrett, and so that's why you see a lot of Garrett's driving characteristics in Sean, right? Whether they be good or bad. He's learning, and at 16 years old, I wish that I had that type of ability on the sim, and I think that there's a lot to come from him.
Well, Ken, I'd like to thank you for coming up to the broadcast booth to talk to us early on in this one. Like I said, I appreciate it because we had a good caution string. Me and Sheldon would have probably ran out of stuff to talk about already. And we've got a long Road America race later tonight that we're going to have to save some of our idiocy for. So I appreciate you coming up and talking to us and, just talking about your setup or your setup process week in and week out. And I'm looking forward to seeing what your top 10 qualifiers can do here tonight, man. I want to see if they can actually bring home a 1 through 5, or heck, if they get a 1 through 10 in the race, I'll be gobsmacked.
Definitely, and I just want to say thank you to you guys for putting us on every week, and thank you to all of our customers and supporters and sponsors for all they do. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.
Well, we appreciate it, Ken. That's going to be Mr. Ryco himself. Luckily for us, he was able to come up and join us in the broadcast booth and just talk to us a little bit about his setup process. Like I talked about, Sheldon, kind of a little bit eye-opening. You can kind of, I hate to be fishing, right? But I like to hear the process. I like to know exactly what you're looking for in your setup and exactly how you set up for a racetrack like this where you're going to have cautions.
Oh yeah, no, it's always eye-opening when you have a guy that's done as much on here as Ken has. Like, I remember back in the day when David Cater used to sit there in lobbies with people and talk, about how he builds the setups and everything for Pro. And it's always fun getting a look through that curtain to, see where the success is truly coming from.
And if any of y'all would like to pick up the Ryco set for this week, I mean, it's apparently really, really good. You can visit Ryco-motorsports.com, where they build champions and deliver results. That is Ryco-motorsports.com. Be sure to go check them out this week. Seems like they've got a barn burner of a set. If you buy it this week, you might just get stuck on it and want to buy it every single week, considering how quick they look up at the top of the field. Still running in the top 7 positions, even though they've had a couple of their guys get caught up in incidents already, right? Joshua Watson, who started in the top 10, got spun out. And we've still got 7 of them in the top 7, and, well, now it's 8 of them in the top 8 as Nicholas Roman has taken over the 8th place position from Patrick Gitter.
I will say one more thing about Conklin before we get back to what we're doing here. Surely he's got to have an axe to grind. He was so close last week in NIS. If he could have just held off Maines a little bit better on that restart, an entirely different story for the entire complexion of the race. And, he has a little bit of issue, they make a little bit of contact, and, he gets shoved back in the pack a little bit, gets caught up in a wreck after that. But Conklin's been pretty hot these last couple races.
Well, and that goes to the point that Ken was talking about, how maybe at the beginning of the season he wasn't able to put in quite as much effort as he has been used to. You never know what happens in real life and what could take your attention away from the sim, but it seems like Sean Conklin's all back, right? I mean, he was leading this thing nonstop from the beginning. The only reason he's not in the lead right now is because he got moved by a Coke driver, right? And there's not really much you can do whenever a Coke driver gives you the bumper in the middle of the corner.
No, those two may be really good friends off the track, but you can tell there's no love lost between them on it because they've been beating on each other these last 2 weeks.
A little bit further back, Paul Bergoli is hanging on to the 10th place position over Vincent Crowe in that beautiful but ugly Quinn Houff paint scheme. I'm only going to say that because it's Quinn Houff, but it looks good. It looks good. But Bergoli doing a good job, still hanging in the top 10. He was involved in one of the incidents earlier, trying to work his way back up the pack. And, oh, man, getting a little dicey a little bit further back. A couple cars side by side. A little squirrely coming out of turn number 4. But this is our longest green flag run of the night so far, I do believe. We're finally logging off some laps.
It's about time. I get a little antsy sitting here under yellow.
I mean, it's been a 15-lap run. Does it feel like it's been 15 laps since we went back to green? I mean, these laps are clicking off so daggum fast.
This is a bad, fast, slow track, 18, 19 second laps. We get a green flag run, this 175 laps is just going to fly right by.
Yeah, and our race leader already has a 11.5 second lead over our last car on the lead lap. So that's, 6-7 seconds away from Kenny Powell going down a lap. I mean, and it's only been just over 15 laps. I mean, they are absolutely flying up to the back half of this field. The front 4 have kind of separated themselves, and then Miller Bonds in 5th is kind of in no man's land in between two groups in the 5th place position, but running really good. Miller Bonds started in the 9th place spot, already worked himself up to 5th. So really, really good start from Miller to work himself up, because, I mean, those are all guys on just about the same setup, right? So if you're working through a couple of guys that are either on your same setup, or maybe, like Ken said, he's got a couple different ones, whether you want the 20 lap speed or whether you want the long run speed. But nonetheless, Miller Bonds, against teammates, moved himself up into the top 5.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling, too, when you get through teammates like that. But right now, speaking of getting through teammates, if I was Garrett Maines, I would not be resting easy right now, because he's got a mirror full of Dayglow Yellow with Jacob Schneider just about pushing him off into the corner every lap here.
Yeah, Jacob's been driving it in really, really deep, especially down into turn number 1, just about getting to the back bumper of Garrett every single time. He had dove him about 10 laps ago down into the bottom side of the corner. I would be worried if this thing does run green, because Schneider is, I mean, he's running it pretty hard to drive it down into the corner like that. I think Maines is letting it roll a little bit, allowing the car to rotate itself, while Schneider's actually driving the car down in there and using the brakes to slow it down and rotate. So
yeah, and I think
that it could be a little bit more painful on his tires, but he's looking quick right now.
Yeah, I think we're already starting to see that trade-off, though, because that dramatic entry that he was making right up there on the tank of Garrett Maines, he's starting to back that pace off now. He's starting to fall back on entry, and Maines is starting to pull him a little bit all the way through the corner.
So I guess that means we need to start paying attention to Sean Conklin in that 3rd place position. Maybe he saved his stuff a little bit more from that 3rd place spot. Now, he also could have been running pretty hard after getting, moved out of the way from Maines a handful of laps ago. Maybe he might be running a little angry, too, in that 3rd place spot.
Yeah, but I think Conklin, once he got moved out of the way there, I think he kind of just settled back in. We didn't see many big moves out of him. He settled back into 3rd, and he's just kind of been riding around, letting these two kind of figure it out between themselves up here for 1st and 2nd.
Conklin has found the fence a couple times, though.
Yeah, but look, it's Conklin, man. He's sending it, all right? But he's
talking about using every inch of the racetrack. My word.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to find extra inches of the racetrack that we don't even know we have yet either.
I think he's done that a couple times. We're side by side a little bit further back. Paul Bergoli making it a Ryco 1 through 9 around the outside of Patrick Gitter. Then in the 10th place spot, looks like Vincent Crowe's looking to take that around the outside of Gitter as well through 3 and 4. Vincent Crowe making it work on the outside. Probably going to get the run out of turn number 4 on Gitter. not quite able to clear before we get down into turn 1 and 2, but he outbrakes him, and it looks like he's going to get the position over Gitter, move Vincent Crow into the top 10.
Yeah, now one thing I'd keep my eyes on here, keep your eyes on Joseph Squared. He's been kind of riding off about a half second behind these guys in front of him in that first pack. We know how good he saves tires. If this thing goes along, he might be lights out by the end of the run.
I don't know if this is a new thing from Joseph or if I just hadn't been paying attention in the past, but it seems like the last few weeks, maybe a couple months, he's employed this strategy where he sits back a good 2, 3, 4 seconds off the race lead and just rides, right? He drops anchor a little bit. We saw it at Darlington. I believe I remember seeing it at Kansas. He just seems to be really, really good at saving those tires and making it live for the long run. And, well, at racetracks like the old North Wilkesboro, like we're running on tonight, Darlington last week, Dover a handful of weeks ago, where the tire wear is just so immense, I think it's a great strategy. You just got to hope that those caution flags don't fly. And, well, right now for Joseph Squared, it's getting to that point where we're stuck in the middle of a long green flag run, and those tires are going to start coming alive, and he's going to start clicking off some fast lap times.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to figure out, too, what's the easiest way you're going to beat these guys? You know, Garrett Maines, Schneider, Conklin, you're beating them and saving tire all at the same time to be good in the long run. It's not an easy task. So ride around, save a little bit of Goodyear, you know, come up there, start to get to them when they start to wear their stuff out a little bit, see if you can't ride with them, you know. It's good
Especially with
strategy.
how hard a couple of these guys up front were racing a little bit earlier. We got a side-by-side battle a little bit further back, though. Alex Murray to the outside, trying to wrap around the outside of the 22, coming out of turn number 2. I believe that is Trevor Clay on the inside. Yes, it is Trevor Clay, but Clay is actually just moving. He's to the bottom side. He's picked up a couple positions, and Trevor Clay has moved up into the 12th place position, and it looks like Gitter has really worn out the tires there, holding his ground a little bit further up at the short end of this run. He's kind of struggling on the outside of the racetrack right now.
Glitter's been up there burning it up, it looks like.
Man, you just doubled down on the glitter.
Yeah, it's a thing now. So it's going to be like Christopher Buescher.
Nah, I will not be saying Patrick Glitter too much. I think I already wore it out with the Las Vegas joke.
Yeah, that was a stretch. But
he could be Chandler's mom and Friends.
I will say I am happy to see that paint scheme back because that thing looks crisp. Oh yeah, he's loose coming out of the 2 there. You saw that?
Absolutely. It was just a weird twitchy loose too, which is kind of notorious in these next gen cars, right? You kind of see that a lot. Not a lot of right rear tire. Well, there's plenty of right rear tire to lean on, but you've got like no right rear air to lean on. You don't have the side force that we used to have in the old car with these things being symmetrical. It's just tough. Once you wear out the tire, that right rear, you've got nothing else left to lean on. You know, in the Gen 6, you could wear out that right rear a little bit and still be okay, still drive it loose because you had plenty of air to lean on. Here in this thing, especially at the low speed racetracks like North Wilkesboro, nah, you ain't got any of that.
Well, you got right rear to lean on, but that right rear is going to be connecting to the infield grass in about 3 seconds as soon as you try it.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong about that. I know from experience.
My experience anywhere I've gone in the next gen car. That's why I stick to Xfinity and truck.
Looks like Drew Blaze has done a really good job saving his tires in the early run. And I really like that, you know, the late model style of paint scheme on that thing. That's a really, really sweet paint scheme from Drew Blaze, moving himself into the top 10. Not sure what team he's on, but he's looking pretty sporty in the early going.
Yeah, he's out here running a pretty quiet race, working his way through these guys, holding on to his equipment and working his way through. And I do agree, that is a pretty sick-looking hot rod he's got there.
Dude, that's sexy, man. I love that blue. That is hot, and especially doing it on the for the door number as well. The kind of metallic chrome look, I suppose. Not really chrome, but it looks more metallic, I guess, with the way the sun hits it. I can't get over the paint scheme.
Yeah, that's a gnarly-looking paint. You don't see stuff a whole lot of stuff that creative these days. That's up there with Mains's because I'm a sucker for Mains's car. I love that blue.
Well, he's got a little loose out of 4 that time, but luckily he was able to save it. And our race leader is catching up to the back of the pack. Kenny Powell is not too far ahead with some left front damage, so Powell definitely starting to struggle a little bit, nursing that thing around after he got caught up in an incident earlier. But Garrett Maines, I mean, just drives it into turn number 3 and 4, and we haven't really been able to see exactly how fast Garrett Maines is compared to these other guys in terms of like entry speed, right? Because Snyder has really been diving it down on entry behind him. But whenever you see him catching a lap car like this with Kenny Powell, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous seeing how much speed he's got through the center, or the entry and center of the corner.
Yeah, I like what he's doing too. He's arcing it up into the corner high. He's basically setting it up so he can have as long a straightaway as he possibly can. Like he's running good, clean line here, and I know that's going to pay off, especially on the long run with these tires, because he's not going to be burning out that right front of his bat trying to hold it on the bottom.
And I got to point out, Trevor Clay and Drew Blaze, they're Ryco customers. So Ryco's got a 1 through 12 lockout right now. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I really don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. That is ridiculous.
Look, man, like I said earlier, and like Ken said when he was in here, his pride and joy is these short tracks. This is his nitty gritty. This is what he understands best out of anything, and this is what he loves. He's passionate about this stuff. So coming to a track like you see North Wilkesboro or Martinsville on the schedule on these cars, you know that Ryco's gonna bring a fast hot rod for it.
I mean, but it still shocks me, right? No matter, I kind of touched on it in the interview, right? No matter how good you make the setup, there's going to be somebody that doesn't know how to drive it very well. There's going to be someone that just can't get everything out of it, right? But to have 12 guys getting more out of it than anybody else in the field out of their sets is it's ridiculous. I mean, obviously it's a testament to his setups, right? I'm not going to diminish that whatsoever. I mean, it's clearly a setup thing that they can all be up there in the top 12. But I love giving credit to the drivers, and I said it in the interview. You can't make a slow driver fast with a fast setup. They're not going to figure it out. They're not going to know how to drive it. I think it's a huge testament to what they've been doing over there in terms of building their roster, building their squad, and again, with Ken building the setups. I mean, for the short tracks, I'm wanting to buy a Ryco setup now. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also, let's also not, go without emphasizing on the fact that the guy's got an eye for talent.
True.
Like he's got some good drivers. Like all the guys that are on the main team, man, these are heavy hitters. And like, of course you're gonna have customers that know exactly what they're doing with this stuff too, especially in this split.
Yeah, week in, week out, we see Garrett Maines, Jacob Schneider, Sean Conklin, Joseph Squared, Nicholas Roman, James Houghton, all running in or around the top 5 week in, week out, right? If they're not in the top 5, they're in the top 10. And he's added Roger Pierce, who I have been fortunate enough to race in a couple races with. Extremely respectable, extremely clean guy, and obviously very fast, running up in the 4th place position currently. About to get passed by Joseph Squared, I believe, but still going to be in a top 5 spot. So to your point, just building the roster up with good fast drivers, and I mean it's clear as day with how, I mean, just how fast they're running at the time. And I know that a couple of the guys in the top 12 are customers too, right? So it's not just the main team guys. There's a couple customers in there worked into the top 15 that are absolutely moving.
Yeah, and also, dude, this is a really stacked strength of field. Like, we just watched Kenny Powell get lapped, and back when I first started cup racing on here, Kenny Powell was one of your top 5, top 10 guys. And he's no slouch by any means. It's just how competitive it has gotten in this age.
It does seem like there's been a very heavy influx of talent into iRacing recently. Now, one thing that I gotta say, maybe this is kind of boomer feelings. I started back in 2017, so maybe I'm feeling a little boomerish with this, but the next gen car I feel like is diminished like the racing etiquette. The way you've got to race this thing it's annoying on a lot of racetracks. I gotta be honest. It puts on a hell of a show, but man, is it annoying in a lot of places to actually race. And I feel like with there being so many new people, the COVID boom, I would say.
Oh yeah.
With NASCAR actually putting their main guys on TV racing on iRacing, it's allowed a good influx of people that have zero racecraft.
Yeah, but you've also got to figure too, we're also in the information age right now with iRacing, right? So like when you and I started, it was Stone Age. Only a handful of guys knew what to do, what lines to use, what setup stuff worked. Now you can go on YouTube, dude. Every one of these setup shops has a video breaking down exactly how to run which line with which setup, exactly where you need to be, what lines work, how to defend, how to be offensive. Like, you can find so much info now. Like I go and look up something for like a setup because I'm trying to work on something for a B car, and like I can find so much info and so many workbooks just floating around on the internet now. It's insane. If I had that stuff like 5 years ago, man, we'd have been gone.
Ooh, our producer started in 2012. That's an old man right there. Holy cow. That's a boomer number.
Taylor, do your knees still work when you go to stand up? Okay.
Oh, the answer was no, by the way, if anybody asked. Our producer is on crutches permanently.
Our boy over here goes to turn his head, and it sounds like a bowl of Rice Krispies.
Oh, I'm only laughing because that's me. Anyway, Garrett Maines has started to really lap through a couple of guys. He's lapped up to the 17th place spot, looking to get around Dave Long here shortly. Dave with a little bit of left front damage as well. We've seen a couple of the incidents towards the back of the pack earlier in the race hamper a couple of these guys, but the top 12, that's still a Team Ryco lockout. But while we've kind of got a break in the action, we're going to use this opportunity to take our first commercial break of the night. Be sure to stick with us. We still got about 78 laps of green flag racing whenever we come back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance's Monday Night Top Split action on the grid from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Very, very old racetrack. I'm just putting on some good racing out here with a lot of tire saving having to go on at the beginning part of this run, starting to spread out across our top 5 to 10. Garrett Maines with a 1.1 second lead over teammate Jacob Schneider, who has a 0.9 second lead over teammate Sean Conklin, who has a 1.6 second lead over teammate Joseph Square, who has a 1.7 second lead over Roger Pierce, also a teammate. So Ryco doing pretty good, and I'm going to use that opportunity to talk a little bit about them. At Ryco Performance, we're more than a setup shop, we're a performance provider, preparing you weekly with data and setups to get you ahead of the curve of the competition. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or a weekend warrior, our cutting-edge data packs and one-on-one coaching sessions are tailor-made to push the limits of yourself and your virtual race car, giving you the winning edge that you crave. Why should you choose Ryco? Well, we have expert craftsmanship by a team of seasoned builders, cutting-edge performance enhancements tailored to your vehicle, and unrivaled coaching and reliability to handle the most demanding circuits on the iRacing platform. For more information, visit us at ryco-motorsports.com, where we build champions and deliver results. And currently, Ryco is delivering results in the top 12 positions out on the racetrack. Everybody, well, just about everybody that's still on the lead lap is Ryco. Jeffrey Taylor, the lone non-Ryco car, still out there on the lead lap, currently in the 13th place spot. Garrett Main's about a second and a half off of his back bumper.
Yeah, I think I think everybody else has to go back and do a little bit of work after this race. Because they've got a lot to do right now.
I mean, holy crap! I've seriously never seen this in my time on iRacing and in the broadcast booth. Even though obviously we've got Ryco Performance sponsoring us, or allowing us to present what is on your screen here tonight. I typically try to remain as unbiased as possible, but you know what? Whenever they've got all 12 of the top 12 positions, I don't really know what else to talk about, right? I mean, we've got pretty decent gaps between a lot of cars. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've literally never seen this.
Oh, I know this feeling. You remember when a Reaper and Legacy first became a thing?
Yeah.
And then every car in the top 15 was Reaper Legacy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I remember those days. Those weren't fun days, for me anyway.
Ryco's trying to make it not fun here to this week. It's fun for them, I can tell you right now. Garrett Maines is having a blast. Jacob Schneider's probably enjoying himself. Sean Conklin, well, he got moved out of the race league. Maybe he's a little frustrated. But, well, whenever you see everybody around you is in the same paint schemes, you gotta be feeling good about what you got under you that week in terms of setup.
Yeah, no, I was expecting a little bit more of a comeback from Conklin here, but it looks like he's just kind of relented back to third for the time being. You're making hard charges after that move on that restart.
Yeah, I thought that he had a little bit more long run pace, but it just hasn't really came into fruition. I think it's really got to do with, whenever I was talking earlier about Schneider really driving into the back bumper of Maines, or driving to the back bumper of Maines, I should say, on corner entry. Maines was just letting that car roll into the corner, man. He was saving that right front tire while still running fast. I feel like, I mean, obviously Garrett Maines knows what the hell he's doing. But I just think it was all about how he was getting into the corner. He's just letting the car rotate down in there itself, not really pushing the thing. And at a racetrack like this that tears up your tires, you just don't want to overdrive it.
Yeah, but you know who does have that long run pace going right now? Our boy in fourth place, Joseph Squared.
Does he? Has he been moving forward a little bit?
He's been just methodically working his way up there. He's in fourth now, and honestly, I feel like he's going to find his way up even further up the front of the pack before this thing's over. Because remember, I think when we looked at him earlier, he was like 8th or something, wasn't he?
He was maybe, I think he was like 6th. He started in 7th. But he's definitely moved up. And let's see, last time by for Joseph was a 19.608. Last time by for Garrett Maines was a 19.619. So maybe not as quick as well, I mean, he's matching Garrett Maines, but not going to be quick enough to run him down, I don't think. But that's a tough benchmark, right? I mean, that's Garrett Maines.
No, that's an almost impossible benchmark because we see what that guy does every week. But
he's matching him lap after lap, though. So I mean, it's going to be tough to run him down over the next 55.
Yeah, but running down Garrett may not be a probability. But running down those two turkeys in front of you, that is possible. I like what I see out of Joseph every week. Just nice, methodical, eventless races. Goes out there, works his way up, makes the best of what he's got.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. He's consistently a 10th faster than 2nd and 3rd right now, and that puts him at even with our race leader lap after lap. Man, that time a freaking 19.485 out of Joseph. That was actually half a tenth faster than our race leader. He was running 6s and high 5s the last couple laps before that, and all of a sudden he's dipped that thing down into a 4. Maybe he's starting to push that thing a little bit, getting into the last 50 laps of this thing.
Yeah, old buddy's ears must have been ringing there. But
he might be listening to us.
He's got that, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex approach, and we've seen how successful that is on Sundays. And I like seeing that. You don't see that much anymore. Most people just full send their stuff, burn it off, and wreck somebody.
No kidding.
And, Joseph's out here. I mean, he's just reeling them in. slowly but surely.
And I like seeing that, man. You're taking care of your stuff, and you know what? It's not always going to bring you home the checkered flag, right? I'll be the first to admit it. I'm more of a tire saver myself. I enjoy doing that. It's not always going to bring you home a checkered flag, but especially at the racetracks like Darlington, like North Wilkesboro, like Dover, if you just keep your car clean and you save your tire, you're basically guaranteeing yourself a top 5 by the end of the night, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's what we're seeing out of Joseph. And guess what? If you finish in the top 5, it doesn't matter what split you're in, doesn't matter what your iRating is, unless you're like 10K. You're going to be gaining iRating. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what most of the guys out here are here for, right? You want to improve your rating. You want to look a little bit better. You want to prove to yourself that you've gotten faster, that you're able to compete towards the front. And, well, Joseph's doing that right now, still laying down about similar lap times as Garrett Maines.
Yeah, and also it's a long season, you know. You want to get those points. You want to get those bragging rights. You want to be able to, you know, none of us really take it seriously, the championship standings in most of these series. But at the end of the day, we all kind of do a little bit. Because at the end of the day, that's what you got. You got those results. You got, you know, I finished, you know, 5th in points here. I could have finished 4th. And, you know, going out and having good, clean, silent, you know, don't rock the boat days like this, I mean, it helps a lot. Take that from a guy that, you know, tries to send.
Sorry. I got to give a big shout out to the entire field, right? I know I've been talking about the Ryco 1 through 12. They are every single car in the lead lap right now. But I got to give a big shout out to the entire field because I did not expect we were going to get a 100 lap green flag run. And I think we're about to eclipse that. I mean, this run has been great to actually see them be able to go out there, allow the long run to get into this thing. We went green on lap 37. So we're about 8 laps away from that 100 lap mark on this run. I don't know how many. I could probably count on my fingers how many times I've seen a 100 lap green flag run on a short track on iRacing. So pretty impressive from everybody in the field tonight.
Most of the times I've seen 100 lap runs on a short track on iRacing is when there's only 6 cars left.
Yeah, we don't count those. We don't count those.
So that's my best thing for you.
We got 22 cars still out on the racetrack, man. That's ridiculous.
So is this about the time that Larry Mack tells us what time the final caution comes out and we get a yellow?
Trends of the race?
Yeah, what's your trends of the race?
Alrighty, the Austin Estrom trends of the race that I'm completely making up off the top of my head. We have an average last lap caution of lap number 164. So I'm expecting that caution flag to fly in about 32 laps time. Sheldon, what do you think? Do you take 2 tires? Do you take 4 tires whenever we get down? There are going to be a lot of laps on those tires.
And you got a 10-lap dash that we're probably going to end up with a green-white checkered. Depends on how far back in the back of the pack you are. If you're in the mid-pack, I'm coming down. I'm putting 2 Goodyears on it. Up front, try to keep 4 on it.
You're not worried about those left front, or you're not worried about that left rear tire?
Dude, if I'm running 15th in this split and I'm not on a Ryco set, I'm putting 2 tires on it, and we're either going to the front or we're going to the junkyard.
Well, they're all a lap down, so I think that they would have to take the wave around.
Well, bold strategy, Cotton. See how it works for them.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, buddy. But yeah, those were the Austin Estrom trends that were totally not just made up on the fly. Expect a caution around lap 164.
So, based on the past 2 weeks, I actually do kind of expect caution with them to go.
We are the king of jinxes. I got to be honest with you, and so I wouldn't be surprised if I had $1 for every time over the last, I don't know, since the turn of the year, that I started talking about a caution, and then all of a sudden the yellow flag pops up on our screen, I would be pretty rich, I'll be honest with you.
I will say, of all the weeks that Justin Levine decided not to run the A Open race.
Yeah, what a terrible one to pick.
Yeah, he was like,
holy cow.
He was like, oh, I'm going to go there, I'm going to lose all my iRating. Doesn't run it. That's my Justin Levine voice, by the way, guys.
It was pretty close.
Yeah, close enough.
Should we just break out the impressions? Because we are kind of, you know, we're separated a little bit, except for our battle for P2 right here. Jacob Schneider trying to hang on. Sean Conklin all over the back bumper. And I got to point out, Conklin's running fast lap times all of a sudden. He's breaking even with Garrett Maines.
He saved up them tires. He knew I was talking bad about him for a second there. Now he's about to start taking bumpers.
Trying to pull that undercut coming out of turn number 2. Couldn't quite get the run. The dirty air is still a problem here, right? We all know the short track package in the next gen car. It's a little bit better on iRacing than it is in real life. You can fight through the dirty air, but it's still a big detriment, especially once the tires wear out and you really don't have much mechanical grip to lean on. It just seems like you don't have any grip whatsoever.
Oh man, it looked like he was going to get one heck of a run up there on the top, but just couldn't quite seal the deal. Couldn't get the power down. He is all over Schneider's rear bumper though. But yeah, the dirty air on these short tracks is something I never thought I'd experience, but these next-gen cars have proven me wrong.
Still about 24 laps before that caution flag comes out, but Sean Conklin to the inside of P2 here. Jacob Schneider, let's see how hard is he going to fight it. Does he allow Sean Conklin to go and try to challenge Garrett Maines up there, or does he put up a fight for the second place spot? Still side by side, coming out of turn number 4 and down into turns 1 and 2 from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Schneider's fighting him for it. He's not going to let Sean Conklin have the spot, and Schneider is going to keep it coming down the back straightaway.
Man, if I was Schneider, I'd roll out of it. We've seen how aggressive Conklin is, especially later in these races. That's the last cat I want to have fighting me on the inside for more than a few laps, that's for sure.
Well, the longer that Schneider can hold on to it, the more tire Sean Conklin's going to wear. But it looks like Conklin, using the lap car as a pick, is going to pick up that second place position. Hey, sometimes that's all you need, right? A little bit of helping hand from the Noah Gragson machine out there.
That's a little Earnhardt move right there. I dig it.
He uses the lap car of Rick Mast as a pick.
Oh, the memories.
Oh boy, that was Justin Selway Jr. that was out on the outside of the racetrack. He was trying to stay out of the way, right? Nothing wrong with Selway did, just committing himself to the outside. Unfortunately for Schneider, that's the lane that he was forced up into. Sean Conklin, though, able to get through into that second place spot, but that did cost him a little bit of tire life and 0.8 of a second to the leader. And with only 32 laps remaining, 31 at the line this time, Garrett Maines just now hitting it. That's going to be a tough ask. He's going to have to be about 1/10 of a second faster per lap on Garrett Maines and then still make the pass after.
And now we got old boy Vroman working his way up here into the top 5.
Look at Miller Bonds, man. I thought that he would probably run out the tires a little bit, right? He started in the 9th place spot, immediately drove himself up to, I believe, 4th, and then fell back as the tires started to wear out. I think he drove it a little bit too hard at the beginning. But now he's starting to come back, man. He's got a little bit more pace in that thing. I think he's cooled down the tires. He's fighting for the 6th place spot as Roger Pierce is starting to fade.
I mean, that's the thing about these tires, too, though. If you go out there and you torch them for a couple laps, you burn them out. If you sit back and kind of just let them cool off for for a little bit, they tend to come back to you, depending on how hard you ran, of course. But I think he's going to be all right. It's looking good now.
Hey, he's looking really good. Looking at the inside of Roger down into 1 and 2. A little sideways as he kind of caught the... I don't know if to call or whether to call it an apron or just it's debanked down there at the very bottom of 1 and 2. Garrett Maines is running the fence in 1 and 2. My word. Trying to get around a lap car, Kenny Powell. I mean, literally looked like he was running the Darlington line from 1 and 2 down into the corner that last time by. I love seeing how many different lanes are here, man. I really thought that we would be watching most of these guys run around the bottom side of the racetrack the entire night. But Garrett Maines on this long run starting to use the absolute outside line. And finding some speed.
I mean, that's also one of those historical things about this place too. You know, back in the day, this track, you'd wear them tires out a little bit, then you'd kind of have options. You know, Junior's talked about it before, how this track could get a pretty pronounced outside line. Later, you'd get into a run, and it's good to see that iRacing's kind of a one-to-one replica of that. To an extent.
This is ridiculous. I can't believe that we've got this long of a green flag run. I mean, you couldn't have... I would have bet against this 100 times out of 100. We went back racing on lap 37 after a caution fest of the first 35 laps. And, well, we've ran 114 green.
I was expecting this to be a show for sure. I'll let you determine what kind of show that is, but this has actually been a pretty decent race.
I never thought I'd see this on a short track with the next gen, man.
No, neither did I. I didn't think I'd see this on a short track on here, period.
Conklin is starting to run in our race leader a little bit. Garrett Maines trying the very outside groove, trying to get around some lap traffic. Starting to struggle a little bit, trying to get around some of these guys. Nothing too crazy to where I think he's going to hurt himself. Trying to get around his teammate, Joshua Watson, who is running in the 11th place spot. Team Ryco still has a 1 through 12 lockout.
Let me get a camera on our boy Maines here.
Potentially.
I feel like Clint at Richmond that week.
No, it was, well, you remember at North Wilkesboro, he threw his pin.
Oh, yeah.
I need you to throw your pin because Taylor's not listening to you.
Can we get a camera on Garrett Maines, please?
If not, I'll throw the pin for you.
Yeah, I got this. I just hit myself in the face with a pen. That's great.
Well, we couldn't hear it, so we're going to need you to turn your mic gain up. Anyway, Garrett Maines has taken over, or overtaken his teammate there. That's putting just the top 10 on the lead lap. Coming to 20 laps to go this time by Maines ever since he bump and ran his teammate Sean Conklin out of the way is just, he set sail, man. He saved the tires really well. Stretched that gap out to about 3 seconds. It's come down to 2.5. But, you know, he struggled around the lap traffic just a little bit there. And I think now that he's back in clean air, I think he's going to be able to bring this thing home, unless that trend comes into play, right? Unless that lap 164 caution comes in. I think it's going to be the Garrett Main show until the end.
Yeah, I think the 41 just threw his roll bar padding out the window there. Little Robbie Gordon trick. Okay, I was hoping that one wouldn't go over everybody's head.
It's been a little while. I mean,
I might just be old.
If this is a simulator, we should definitely make it ultra realistic, where we can start throwing stuff out of the window to try to bring out a caution.
Look, I'm waiting for the day that they actually let us throw a middle finger out the window, okay?
That's never going to happen.
I have been hardcore on that bandwagon, like my first day on here.
Good luck with that, buddy. I don't know about that one.
It would be nothing to mocap that. It would look so cool.
Man, if they're going to ban people for saying that word that is related to the middle finger, they're not going to let you stick a middle finger out the window.
Oh, come on.
I'm right there with you, though. I wish. We need the VR controls where you can put something on your hands and it actually like map out what your hand's doing. I think that would be great.
Amazing. Everybody would be banned within a week. Nimcraft would be up to his freaking eyeballs in protests. But
Paul Bergoli trying to hang on to the ninth place spot over Trevor Clay, but they got the race leader breathing down their neck. Coming down into turns 3 and 4 as they're fighting for that ninth place position. Garrett Main's trying to pick off 2 more cars, put 2 more lap down, just in case that caution flag does fly. There'll be 2 less people that he'd have to worry about taking 2 tires. Man, the line that Garrett Mains is running through 1 and 2, I'm loving it, man. You can move around this racetrack like crazy.
oh yeah, he's booking it now.
Oh, Bergoli way up the racetrack, squeezing Trevor Clay. They're going to be 3 wide off the corner. Taking lap 162 this time. Garrett Mains trying to get past a couple more of his Ryco buddies. Put a couple more of them a lap down. But man, it has been the Garrett Mains show since about lap 40, 45.
Yeah, I don't see any way you're going to get Garrett Mains at this point. He's going to have to get held up really bad in lap traffic or have something really unfortunate happen to him. I mean, honestly, I think even if we get a restart, he's going to be a really hard one to shake for any of these guys out here. Like, right now, he has shown us why he is in the position that he is in on this service.
There it is. They're coming to lap 164. Is this going to be hit? Where's the yellow flag at? Where's my trends? Where's my trends? I don't know. I don't see too many side-by-side battles. I think my trend's going to fail.
You jinxed it. If we hadn't talked about it, we'd have somebody in the catch fence right now.
Oh boy. Well, it didn't happen on 164, but hey, that was just a trend, right? That was the average. We could still see something happen at the back half of this. Throw everything for a loop. See if anybody tries that crazy 2-tire strategy call. We only have 1 green white checkered. Remember, guys, only 1 green white checkered in the A Open races. Very, very possible we get that caution flag flying and somebody tries the 2-tire strategy. Now, I mean, 130 lap tires. That's asking a lot out of those left sides, but I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody try it.
I mean, I have seen and been on the unfortunate end of a lot of crazy stuff in these races throughout the years. You would be impressed.
Who's it gonna be? Where's the caution gonna come from? Who's your money on? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna be the wrecking ball?
It's gonna be Schmeets. I just want to say his name again.
Get together in 1 and 2. Oh man, it looks like they both saved it. I thought it was about to happen, man. I thought we were wrecking through 1 and 2. Roman and Crow made a little bit of contact as Roman was lapping them down into turn 1. Woo, boy, I'm telling you, it was close. It was very close. Good save out of both those guys.
We've got what, 250 laps of this on Friday?
No, there's no.
Yeah, great. Never mind. There is none.
Yeah, we're off this Friday. We get a bye week.
Oh my God. I finally get a break.
I'm not going to be able to feed my family this week.
I finally get a break. Darby's going to let me be free for a couple days.
Just 1 day.
Yeah, just a day.
Yeah. We're shackling you up so you can't do anything.
That's all right. I've been through worse.
Don't let the animal out of the cage. I think we might be getting a PG 15 on that one. Garrett Main's taking 5 laps to go, trying to get around John Payson, trying to put him 2 laps down. Ooh, really wide from Garrett there. Sean Conklin just has not been able to close in the gap. It's been pretty consistent at, in between 2.2 to 2.5. Garrett Mayne's stuck in a lot of lap traffic, though, here with 4 laps to go. With them being side by side right in front of him, this could offer Conklin an opportunity. Only 4 laps to go, though. It might be a little too late. Oh, and Garrett Maynes goes for the massive crossover on the exit of turn number 2 to get to the inside of Pace, and he knew that there was still a chance that, if he stuck behind those guys, he was going to end up giving up too much time to Conklin. Instead, he pulls a great move through 1 and 2, able to run all over the racetrack. Like I mentioned, it's just so fantastic to see somebody be able to run all the way by the wall like Garrett Maynes is doing and cut it down on exit. 3 laps to go.
And this is absolutely the most nerve-wracking part of the race for him. He's got, such a small amount of laps left. He's got all these lap cars around him. He knows that Conklin's, slowly working his way there. He's even with him on, an average lap. But any mistake, anything, could be the make or break for Maynes right now. As he rolls into turn 3 on the inside of the 28 to bring us to the white flag. The 20.
And here it is, Garrett Maynes coming out of turn number 4, taking the white flag. 1 lap to go for the North Wilkesboro Speedway. The last 140 laps under green at a short track. What a fantastic job by everybody in the field tonight. What a fantastic job by Ryco, who's going to finish with a 1 through 12 lockout. And what a job by Garrett Maynes, who's going to come off of turn number 4 to win it for Ryco Performance in the Ryco Performance Monday night top split from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. What a job. What a race. I cannot believe we just saw 140 laps straight green flag from this racetrack.
Yeah, we harped on cautions on the entire build-up of this broadcast, man. And like, these guys come out here, they proved us wrong. It's incredible, because it is so hard to get these things to go green after a restart on these short tracks, because it's so easy to make mistakes and just run somebody over.
Apparently it's a 1 through 13 for Ryco. We got corrected in chat by Shane Davis. I guess Jeffrey Taylor, is he also a Ryco buyer? Goodness gracious, that's ridiculous. Either a 1 through 12 or a 1 through 13 for Ryco. That's unbelievable, man.
Look at that. He's got them all loading up on the front straightaway, too. That's going to be a
hell of a picture for them. Goodness gracious. That's going to be some great Facebook marketing, I'm going to tell you right now. Holy crap. I've never in my life.
Oh, my God. Smoke him if you got him, eh?
Oh, my.
We don't need the tire data, Ken.
This is the craziest burnout I've ever seen in my life. Holy crap.
We can get this thing zoomed out.
Can we get a different camera? I need another camera angle. This is insane. I need to see more of these guys. Holy crap.
This looks like the inside of a Golden Corral in about 2000.
Welcome to the smoking section. Population Garrett Maynes and the rest of Ryco. Holy crap, man.
They literally just deleted the entire front straightaway.
1 through 13 for Ryco. It's confirmed, I believe. 1 through 13. Unbelievable job from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And so that we can stop blowing out your eardrums, we're going to take our final commercial break. We're going to interview the top 3 whenever we come back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance's Monday Night Top Split from the North Wilkesboro Speedway for the A Open Series. We're going to run through our final race results. Garrett Maines brings it home on the top step of the podium with Sean Conklin in second and Jacob Schneider in third. Joseph Squared in fourth place with Nicholas Roman in fifth. Roger Pierce sixth. Miller Bond seventh. James Houghton eighth. Trevor Clay ninth. And Paul Bergoli 10th in a Ryco 1 through 13 lockout.
In 11th place, you have Joshua Watson leading Drew Blaze. In 12th place, 13th, you have Jeffrey Taylor, followed by Vincent Crow, Dave Long, John Payson, Sean Rogers. And 18th, you have Peyton Schneider, followed by Justin Selway, and Kenny Powell rounds out your top 20.
21st is Jordan Schmeets with 22nd, Patrick Gitter, 23rd, Alex Murray, 24th, Ryan Strunk, and 25th, Blaine Schneider. 143 laps off the pace for the last couple. They were involved in an incident early on, but we're going to jump straight into our race-winning interview. We've got Garrett Maines standing side by side with us in the broadcast booth. Garrett, I mean, the only place that I can start out with is what a setup. I mean, 1 through 13 for Ryco. You led that just about the entire green flag run there at the end. Just run us through your race, run us through what the heck you were doing to make that thing live so long, and walk us through the preparation that Ryco had put in this week to be able to bring home a 1 through 13.
I mean, shoot, huge congrats and shout out to Ken and all the guys over there that put in all the work every week to, I mean, put these cars together. I honestly didn't expect anything going into tonight. I know everybody that heard me complaining that I'm gonna suck, probably doesn't want to hear it, but I really did not expect to be anything better than a third place car tonight. So, you know, just, it was so crazy how well that car came in. And I mean, as that race developed, we just had a rocket. I mean, I felt like we were probably one of the only teams that could go just about anywhere on the track that was logical and make it work. So it was crazy. I mean, I knew Sean was going to be the class of the field going into it. Obviously showed that in qualifying. I think once I got in front of him, I think there was a period of time where he was like giving up time that he probably shouldn't have, and I felt like I got in the groove there for a little bit, and then he picked it right back up where he should have been. I mean, he was pretty much matching me for about 100 laps there, so I think no matter who got out front there, it was going to be a race. But man, I definitely no complaints. At the end of the day, that was crazy, and you know, huge congrats to Ken again on a top 13 lockout. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, typically these races, the climax happens with 5 laps to go, 15 laps to go, 30 laps to go. This one happened with 130, where you made the pass for the lead and led the rest of the way. Just walk us through the pass, how you moved Sean out of the way. Pretty clean bump and run, but just talk to us about, you know, the move, if you can remember it. It was so long ago.
Yeah, I went back to watch it just to make sure it wasn't like egregious. My intention was not to hit him there, but I mean, he was crowding me tight. I was up probably a foot higher than I should have been on entry, and I mean, that's kind of all there was to it. And just a little bit of contact. These cars are so on edge that any touching was kind of difficult to hold on to it, which is why I didn't want to hit him, because if I did, I felt like I probably would wreck. But I guess I got away with one there. I felt like, you know, he was going to be able to get back to me. I mean, Jacob had probably 10 opportunities to my inside there, but I sure as heck wasn't going to crowd him because I did not trust myself to be able to take that hit. I just saw what happened to Sean, so I don't know. It was going to be a brawl there for a while, but I got a breakaway, and then I think I kept my tires on it a little bit better. I felt like they were both attacking the corner a lot more than I was, and it seemed to make the difference.
Well, Garrett, big congratulations on the first place finish here tonight. Obviously, getting used to seeing you in victory lane. Not too surprising on that, but definitely surprising to see one team lock out the top 13 position. So big congratulations to you and all of the Team Ryco guys on dominating performance. I feel like that word isn't even strong enough, but congratulations to all you guys back at the shop.
Well, I appreciate it, and I also got to give a huge shout out to MCU Body, Lennox, the guys at Left Court Brothers, and FGRXL for their support as well.
All right, that was our race winner, Garrett Maines. Next up, we're going to talk to our second place finisher, but I do think our music might be a little bit too loud. I'm getting a little a voice in my ear from elsewhere. Our music might be cranked up a little bit too much. So let's try to get that turned down here before we interview our next couple of finishers. We're going to bring in our second place finisher, Sean Conklin. Sean, put it on pole, looked to be stupid quick at the beginning. Just got passed by your teammate there on about lap 40, 45. But then you rode in the top 3 the rest of the night. You know, what do you think about the setup that y'all had under you tonight? And just walk us through your race.
I think it was a pretty good race. Like, and this setup's on rails. Like, it expects, like, it races how you expect the first 3 laps. Like, there's fall off, but then once you hit a certain point, it doesn't fall off anymore. And actually, towards the end, I was getting faster. But yeah, the set's really good. Put a lot of time in this week, and I was happy when we put it on pole, and we had some good pace at the beginning. But I didn't really like looking back at it. I should have defended just a little bit better going down the backstretch, because I don't think he would have gotten to the inside if I just didn't try to go to the top. But I didn't know if the top or the bottom was the preferred lane, so I was just kind of testing the waters, and it was too late. Got into me a little bit, and yeah, from there we just sat in third. I was just trying to, at the beginning, I think I kind of burned them up. Like, when I got back into third, I was trying to get the spots back, but it's hard to pass here, and burnt them up in the middle. Came back at the end, though. We brought the gap down to 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Then we had a little trouble with lap cars, but felt good about the pace at the end, and man, that was tiring too.
Yeah, I bet 140 laps at a short track. I don't remember the last time I've seen a race go that green. So, I mean, you know, just speak on the, I suppose, the maneuverability, right? Garrett Maines kind of touched on it in his interview about how you could run all over the racetrack. Were you kind of feeling the same way? We saw a couple of y'all running all the way up by the wall as the tires wore out. You know, what was it like being able to run all over this racetrack?
I saw him up by the wall, but honestly, just my opinion, I don't know if it's better, because towards the end there, I really figured something out. Like, I got back all the way down into like the 3s, like low 3s. Like, we were moving at the end, just not enough time. There's only like 15 laps to go. But you can go anywhere you want. Like, if you prefer the top, it's still fast. But I think staying on that bottom was a lot better for me.
Well, Sean, congratulations on the second place finish. Who do you have to thank?
Ryco and Ken. We were working on the setup this week, and we obviously made it very good. So yeah, just shout out to them, and yeah, big shout out to Ken. This should be a good night to celebrate for him, 1 through 13. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, ridiculous performance from Ryco here tonight, and a great performance from you bringing it home in second. Big congratulations, and looking forward to seeing if you can put that thing in victory lane a couple times this week.
I hope so. Thank you.
That was Sean Conklin, our second place finisher, and I just realized I stole him from Sheldon. Typically, Sheldon's supposed to do our second place guy, so I'm gonna let Sheldon interview Jacob Schneider, our third place finisher. I apologize for that, Sheldon.
Yeah, man, I was keyed up and everything. You had me. I was teed off. I had all my questions together. Now I gotta do it all on the fly. How rude of you.
A little bit.
That's all right, Jacob. Man, you ran a great race tonight. You were up there in the top 3 from pretty much start to finish. What did you need to? What did you need to go your way just to kind of have something for those guys?
I probably needed to pass Garrett when I had the chance, or I should have tried harder when I had the chance. Just sitting right behind him, keep diving to the inside and it not working, kind of killed my right front, I think. But it's hard to keep up with those two on any given week. Like finishing third of those two is always pretty honorable, actually. But yeah, I think I learned something to be better next time.
Oh, you care to share, or is that one going to be a closely savored secret?
Maybe I'll just use the bumper next time.
I was wondering, man, because there was a couple laps there where I was watching you just kind of send it on into 1 and 3, and I thought you were going to get him moved out of the way.
If it wasn't a teammate, that bump and run was definitely in play. But I try to keep it clean with the teammates and the customers, and we had a good race going at Ryco, so I didn't want to ruin anything.
I get that. I respect that too. That karma will pay off for you in the long run, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so. Sean drove me pretty clean tonight too, so he repaid the favor. And yeah, I think it'll help me in the long run.
Yeah, just cream of the crop all night, man. What do you think of the setup moving forward this week? It's gonna be a good farm week for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, if the SOFs are high enough. You know, I don't think any of us were really looking forward to this week because we thought we'd be pacing. But if it's anything like this race, you know, they went like 130 something laps green there. That was a lot of fun, getting to move around and drive on worn tires. So I don't know. We'll see. If it stays green, I'll keep racing on weekend farm for sure.
Oh man, go knock them out. Any thanks or anybody want to shout out for this one?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out the whole team and the customers for the 1 through 13. It takes a good setup. It takes good drivers too. So shout out to all of them.
Well, heck yeah, man. Well, you have yourself a great evening.
Thank you. You guys too.
We appreciate it.
Alrighty. That was our third place finisher, Jacob Schneider. And we've got just a little bit of time before we got to switch over to the B Open. I know we got a good couple of guys that ran the A Open that are going to jump over and try out some Road America. And we're going to get our stream changed over here before we can jump over to that session. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and watching. I don't think that the name Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split has ever been more applicable than it was for this A Open race, with Ryco ending up in the top 13 positions. I've been Austin Edstrom alongside Sheldon Atkins and Taylor Burris. We'll all be right back in just a couple minutes for some action from Road America. Welcome back to more Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split action. This time we've got the B Open, the Xfinity cars coming at you live from Road America up in Wisconsin. I'm Austin Edstrom, standing alongside Sheldon Atkins and also Taylor Merce behind the production truck as always. Well, not as always. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. I don't really know. Taylor, you're all over the place. I never know whether you're going to be here or not. But we've got some more action coming at you live from the, I say the, man, it's just stuck in my head, the. It's not the Road America, it is Road America. But we're going to lead into the Sheldon Atkins keys of the race.
All right. Well, first thing I want to mention, too, before we even go into it, this is one of the most fickle road courses on the circuit. You got a lot of elevation changes. You got a lot of sharp turns and kinks and long straightaways leading into 90-degree corners. This track is pretty much designed to pull you into a sand trap at some point. But anyway, one of the most important keys of the race, it's a road course. We don't get cautions. The most important key of all is survive turn one. You got a long straightaway, and you go right into a sharp, fast right-hander. It is a very easy place to wad up a bunch of stuff and tear up a lot of equipment, and it's really hard to recover when you don't get yellows to come down and fix it. Another important key is you want to race your own race. You know, go out there, don't worry about what the guys around you are doing. Same thing as last week at Darlington. These road courses, you've got what you got. Don't try to outpace yourself. Don't try to send it. Don't try to put yourself in a bad position. Just worry about managing the race. And then most importantly, don't beat yourself. Don't go into that first turn full throttle. Don't outbrake yourself. There's a lot of ways you can make a lot of mistakes here.
I disagree with that last key. I like beating myself.
Oh, hey, PG, come on.
PG 16. But we're gonna run through our starting lineup. What a way to start it off. Joe Armstrong up on the pole. Beats out Garrett Maines by 0.03 of a second. Goodness gracious, that's close around this place, I'm telling you. Michael Whitaker is going to be starting in the third place spot. Blair Wickett starting in fourth. Jalen Handcamp's going to be starting in the fifth place position with Dustin Tank in sixth. Jesse Gordon in seventh. John Payson rounding out row number 4 with David Siddell in ninth place and Nick Ottinger in 10th. The first one to not lay down a qualifying lap.
And 11th place, we have Christopher Paez. On his outside, it's going to be Joe Dush. In 13th place, we got Zachary Wells. 14th, we have Todd Peterson. And then in 15th, we have Chris Mathis. Really small field tonight. Really small split.
Yeah, no kidding. Only 15 guys out here tonight. Not too much going on. Man, we've got a long pace lap ahead of us, don't we? Holy crap.
Man.
They don't have the half pace lap here? Holy crap.
This is interesting. That'd be a good time for a commercial break, won't it?
I was about to say, we might take a commercial during the pace lap. Holy crap, man. That's interesting. We probably need to get that added.
What would be really funny is if they messed it up and gave us a standing start here.
Well, the pace car's out there, so I don't think so.
I know.
I was hopeful too whenever I saw them lined up on the front straightaway. But we're going to jump into our broadcast picks because we can do that before the commercial break. Thank God. I wanted to pick Ottinger, but he didn't qualify, and I think that's going to be too much for him to make up on Maines and Armstrong. But I'm gonna go with the low-hanging fruit and pick Garrett Maines.
Wow, you really had to reach far for that one.
I did.
You didn't pull anything, did you?
Well, I'm a shorty, so I gotta jump and reach. I'm kidding. I'm like 6 foot. But anyway,
All right,
go ahead.
hang on. I'm gonna close my eyes and spin the wheel here because it's too easy to pick the other one. So, let's see. We have Michael Whitaker.
All right.
That's where my mouth sent it up. You know what? We're going to go with it.
He started in third, so it's not too bad. If the top two guys take each other out, I can see it. And then Taylor Burris picking Christopher Paez.
Really?
Who would have thought?
I was expecting Ottinger.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And we're going to have to wait a little while because we've got about a 4-minute pace lap on offer for you. So we're going to take our first commercial break before we even get to racing action so we don't have to take too many during the race. So be sure to stick with us. We'll be taking the green flag whenever we come back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance's Monday Night Top Split. We're about to start the B Open race. Always good whenever we can get the commercial break out of the way before the race even starts. Leading the way to the green flag is going to be Joe Armstrong with Garrett Maines on his left. You're looking at him on the right on your camera right now. Garrett Maines on the right, Armstrong on the left. Now they swap it back as we take all these cars up the hill. Coming down to the green flag, Joe Armstrong leading us down to the green flag. And we're green for the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split B Open from Road America.
Now here's the question: who's going to miss his braking zone? Who's going to slide in too hot? Right now, it looks like we're going to get through scot-free.
Maines thought about the move, but he thought better of it. Just decided to fall in line behind Armstrong, and we're all clean and green through turn one. I thought for sure we'd see somebody miss that braking zone. Coming down to the turn number two, Whitaker goes a little bit wide from the third place position. Could give him a bad exit and allow somebody to get a run down this long straightaway as the front two start pulling away.
And we had a lot of action there coming out of the first turn. A lot of three wide. Christopher Paez was in the middle of three and thought better of it.
Handcamp getting passed by
Ottinger.
Couldn't quite tell who that was.
Ottinger with a absolute bonsai move down to the bottom of him and got through there perfectly clean. I'm terrified to run this place. I can't imagine passing people on it.
Yeah, I think our timing and scoring might be a little bit messed up. Ottinger's up to the 4th place position after starting 10th after 4 corners. Pretty good start from Ottinger, I gotta say.
Yeah, all over the rear bumper of Blair Wickett here in the carousel. He's running a pretty cool line there. He's going to get a huge run out coming down the back straightaway.
Oh, we got it just a little loose on exit, but we got this fast right-hand kink. How fast can you take it? Can you go all out and not push yourself out too wide? Wickett went a little bit too wide. Now Ottinger looking to his outside. It'll be the inside for the next corner. Man, in the pre-race, I didn't pick Ottinger because he didn't qualify. I thought it would take him at least a little bit of time to pick up these spots. But, man, we're not even done with lap number 1, and he's up to 3rd.
Yep, Ottinger with an absolute power move on the inside of Blair Wickett. Going down through the chicanes or the curves. Which road course are we at? I can't figure out what part of the track I'm looking at. He's taking a turn. There's another turn. All right, now down the front straightaway. I know this part, familiar territory. And
yeah, if you don't know the corner number, just say the right-hander, the left-hand, or something. Well, they're coming down to the right-hander of turn 1. Armstrong still in the lead. Gets a little wide on the curbing, but he gets a little bit better of an exit than Garrett Maines. Nick Ottinger, though, I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, I really didn't. Yeah, there's not too many cars in the field, so it's not going to be terrible for him to get through everybody. But I did not. There wasn't a piece of me that thought he'd be 3rd after lap 1.
I had a lot of pieces of me thinking that, but I was going to let you figure that one out on your own.
Well,
It's
Ottinger
Ottinger,
doing a
man.
great job putting himself in. I know, man. I hate to underestimate him, man. I definitely did. It's just, I mean, that's impressive, man. It doesn't matter who you are. But up towards the front, Armstrong and Main still fighting, nose to tail, not really giving each other any room. Got to think that's going to allow Ottinger to potentially close in a little bit more. And you got to think Garrett Mains is thinking, I got to get by Armstrong relatively quick so that I can try to build a gap over Ottinger.
Oh, absolutely. But also at the same time, a little bit of contact there, close to it anyway. I'm impressed with Armstrong's performance here already. You know, keeping Mains behind you for a lap on a track with this many corners, that's a tough task. As they work their way through the carousel, and it looks like Armstrong's going to get a really good run out of here. But I don't know, did Mains back it up enough there to get back to him? This fast right-hand kink down the back straightaway.
I feel like the carousel and kink are relatively difficult to follow through, right? With the dirty air, I just feel like it's tough to stay right up behind somebody, tucked up behind them. You got to kind of set yourself up for this heavy braking zone. Mains almost did. Outbraked the 22 a little bit, but was not able to get to his inside.
Yeah.
Was still right over the back bumper of Armstrong coming through the last sector.
That was a lot of ground he closed going up there into the Canada corner. That is not a spot you
See,
want
there you go.
to take lightly.
You're figuring it out.
Look, I know the corner that kills me is the Canada corner, which I'm going to throw a lot of shade at Darby for that throughout the week.
Yeah, I wish he was here so that we could give him some crap.
I feel like every time, it's probably a good thing that he's not here because he'd probably be singing "Oh Canada" every time he went through the corner.
Oh, man. I would. I listened to that enough last week. I don't need to hear it anymore. Maple syrup and pine trees.
Yeah, that's like a quarter of our demographic, isn't it?
That's their national anthem, right?
Something like that. Mains is still absolutely hounding Armstrong here. I don't know.
Not able to get by him, though. Armstrong's running pretty good.
Yeah, Armstrong's holding pretty strong. Let's see what I did there.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, don't give yourself a concussion with that facepalm, all right?
Oh, man. I'm a little frustrated with you after that one.
Look, I'm a dad. I come by it natural, all right?
Okay, well, that's fair. The dad jokes do just kind of come after you, your wife pops a baby out, right?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like something happens in your brain chemistry where you're like, man, all these jokes have just all of a sudden flown to me.
Dude, I went and bought jorts and New Balances the next morning.
Oh.
Real talk.
Oh, Garrett Mains a little loose on braking.
Moves.
He's got his jorts on wrong.
I'm out.
You could have done Skechers. You could have gone Skechers instead of New Balance.
Yeah, look, you think I can afford Skechers, brother?
I guess you're paying all that money on diapers, right?
You darn right.
Hey, Ottinger's closed into the back of these guys, man. He's coming.
Yeah, right now, Armstrong has proven to be a kidney stone for Mains to get by.
Oh, you're gonna adopt that now?
Oh, dude, it's been adopted. I've been using that since 2018. That's like that's old school me. You know that.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, Ottinger's really carving his way into this.
And Mains just can't get by him, man. You can tell he's just a little bit quicker than Armstrong, but you got to be a little bit better than that to actually make the move at a road course. Here, though, coming down the front straightaway, this is his best opportunity. Stuck firmly in the draft, up the hill, and then as they come over the crest, that draft is going to kick in, and he's going to pull out to the inside this time. Unless Armstrong goes defensive, this is going to be Mains' opportunity. Looking to the inside down the front straightaway, coming down to the heavy braking zone. Man, I really thought he was going to make that dive. Thinks better of it, files back in line, maybe pushes Armstrong faster through that corner than he wanted to. Mains goes just a little bit wide, though, and can't use the run.
Yeah, honestly, what I'm seeing right now, it looks like Mains is using and abusing his stuff right now, trying to find a way to get by Armstrong here, and that's just right now for Ottinger. He is in the catbird seat because these two are absolutely just laying all over each other, wearing their stuff out. And Ottinger's just sitting back here having a nice little Sunday drive while they figure it out. Mains with a move to the outside, coming in here into this left-hander.
Armstrong went defensive. They're going to be door to door. Armstrong gets a little loose. Mains runs a little wide. They're still side by side, perfectly even. Coming up the hill, Armstrong breaks a little earlier. That's going to let Mains have the inside for the next corner, but Mains runs it a little bit wide again. That might ruin his opportunity to take the lead, and it is Joe Armstrong hanging on to the race lead over Garrett Mains, and Nick Ottinger's all over the back bumper of Garrett Mains now.
And here comes Ottinger trying to work a crossover coming out of the kink. Oh, and Oh, something happened. I guess he got loose there. I was watching
Armstrong
Ottinger.
under braking. Armstrong got
no.
loose, and that's allowed Garrett Maines to go. He finally bent under the pressure, and Garrett Maines is through to the race lead. Armstrong trying to come back though through the carousel, all over the back bumper.
Yeah, but you can't right now. Maines' best bet is to just send it, trying to get as far away from Ottinger as he can right now, because Ottinger has carved his way all the way up from the back of the pack, all over the back bumper of Armstrong. You want to take a look to what I think is going to be the inside here? Yes, it is. I got confused. We're in Canada corner.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada. I don't know the lyrics.
I don't either. That's why I said maple syrup and pine trees. And Northern Lights and hockey. But they got through.
Tim Hortons,
to the
don't forget.
place. Oh, true. Syrup. Maple syrup. That's the one I was forgetting.
Yeah.
Maple syrup.
Got himself a
Goodness
loony for
gracious.
a toonie.
Oh, yeah. And Drake, but I think that they're just owning them after their little diss from. Yeah, I wouldn't want Drake on my team either. Talking about PG-16, he takes that to heart.
Jesus. God.
Garrett Maines takes leading races to heart, though, up to the race lead on lap number 5, leading Nick Ottinger, who's come through from the 10th place spot. But now that Maines has clean air, now we've got to really pay attention to what Ottinger can do. Maines was held behind Armstrong the last couple laps, allowing him to close the gap. Now Maines has been able to stretch that out to 0.6 of a second, coming down the long straightaway into turn number 3. We're going to have to see if Ottinger can do anything to run down Garrett Maines. Oh, having a little bit of camera issue. Well. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Oh, we're back. Thank goodness. Garrett Maines still up in the lead. No issues in the top 3. Everybody's still running nose to tail, separated by 0.5 of a second in the race lead, and then another second behind to Joe Armstrong, who's running in the 3rd place spot. But I gotta give Joe Armstrong his flowers, right? That was a heck of a fight that he's putting up against 2 pros, and he outqualified him, or outqualified Garrett Maines. So big credit to Joe Armstrong for putting on a, I know we're only 4 or 5 laps into this thing, but I mean that's a heck of a performance, showing his speed early, being able to hold off Garrett Maines as long as he did, right? I mean that pressure from a Coke guy. I mean that's massive pressure that Armstrong was able to hang on to for a while. I know it was only 4 laps, but like you mentioned earlier, that's a hell of a lot of corners.
Well, anytime you can come out here and fight against these big dogs, and you have anything, if you can have anything over, if you let a lap or 2 over them, that's a victory. You take that. You remember that. Like that's something to be pretty proud of. Especially on a track this difficult, man, because it is so hard to get around these road courses, especially on this tire model with these cars. To be able to hold off 2 pros for a couple laps while you do it, that's pretty sick.
I agree wholeheartedly. And even if he brings home, if he just finishes in 3rd place, which he's got a big gap back to 4th, if he just hangs on to that 3rd place spot, that's going to be a pretty impressive night from him, right? I mean, that just shows your pace, especially hanging on to the race lead like he did. Big credit to Armstrong, man. That's a heck of a first couple laps out of him.
Absolutely.
Gonna look a little bit further back in the pack. We still got some fighting back around the 6th place position. Jalen Handcamp coming down into turn number 1. Behind him, we got Michael Whitaker, Christopher Pies, Chris Mathis, all nose to tail coming out of turn number 1 and down into turn 2.
Honestly, I kind of forgot there was other cars in the race for a minute.
Well, it was so good for the lead there for a while. And it might be heating up again. Nick Ottinger's all over the back bumper of Garrett Maines. We might have to go back to the race lead. I mean, I was excited because I know we've got the battling for the 4th place spot, but man, Ottinger's not letting Garrett get away.
No, these 2 are going to be hounding each other for pretty much this entire race. I got a feeling. One
Going
person
down to the carousel, man. I mean, he's right there.
One person I'm kind of keeping my eyes on, throwing it a little further back to the back of the pack. I've been keeping my eyes on Paez a little bit. He's worked his way through a handful of spots here, and he's been pretty aggressive about doing it. Oh, and the 8 of Chris Mathis just slides. He goes off into the sand pit. That's going to be a
Michael Whitaker. Michael Whitaker that went off into the gravel pit, losing a bunch of positions. falling back to the 12th place position. So tough break for Whitaker there. He was running in the 7th place spot. Back up towards the front, though. Ottinger's still not letting Garrett Maines get away.
Yeah, he is stalking them here.
This is the rare night where we're getting a lot of green flag racing. Obviously, we're guaranteed it for the road courses, but after the 140 lap green flag run we saw at North Wilkesboro, I mean, this is kind of one of those rare weeks where we just don't really have a lot of caution flags flying, and we get to just watch the racing play out naturally. I kind of like it.
Oh, the one thing that we are going to keep our eye out for is I'm pretty sure these guys are going to start lapping into some of these back marker guys before this thing's over, and that could be a huge problem.
That's actually a really good point. The two last guys on the lead lap right now in the field, almost a minute behind our race leaders. It does take a little over 2 minutes to get around this place, but well, it's only been 7 laps, and the leaders are already a minute ahead of them. So, you know, double that and add a little bit to it. They'll probably catch up to the back of the field. What, lap 17? So yeah, it's gonna be tough to get through a couple of these lap guys a little bit further back if they don't just pull over and let them by.
There's not much place to pull over and let people by here, I can tell you that.
Well, that's a fair point. Oh boy, I heard that hiccup or that caught,
Yeah.
whatever that was.
Yeah, that was a hiccup.
Oh man, I was fighting those yesterday, buddy. I feel you. Jalen Handcamp though still hanging on to 6.
I think it's one of those stray ones that pops up every now and then, you know?
It was just a rando one. It wasn't like a
Yeah,
consistent thing. Oh, the 6 sideways. Dustin Tank able to hang on to that thing, but man, Handcamp is under fire from Christopher Paez.
Yeah, Paez has been moving since they dropped the green flag on this thing. He tried to take it 3 wide into the first turn at the start, and honestly, I feel like he's going to carve himself out a nice little finish here if he can keep all the mistakes minimized here, as he is all over the back bumper of Handcamp.
I like that that Napa paint scheme from Handcamp, utilizing a little bit different blue than we're used to. I like seeing mostly a base blue. The doors being nice and white with a couple blue streaks. That's a pretty nice paint scheme. Might have been a throwback, but they're side by side coming down to Canada corner, trying to find some maple syrup and hockey down at the end of it. Not gonna find it this time.
Horton's going to double. Oh, big slide out of the 7 there.
We're gonna have too much fun with the Canada corner tonight, aren't we?
Oh, we are. Mount up your manis, let's ride.
Chris Mathis just about lost it right behind these guys. What a save from Mathis. That was a little scary, a little nervy out of our 8th place runner. I thought he was going off head on into the tire barriers, able to hang on to that thing.
You said he lost it. The few times I've ran here, I never found it to begin with.
This is a tough track, man. This is one of the hardest road courses I feel like we go to. It is a lot of like point and squirt, 90-degree corners, but I don't know. There's just something about it. As we see Handcamp, he's feeling the same way. Handcamp was just 90 degrees sideways. It felt like coming through that corner, able to hang on to the car, able to hang on to the position. You can't do that too many times, man. Your tires are going to be hurting, and I think he sees it down in turn 2. They're starting to struggle. Oh, man, big block that he throws on Paez down the straightaway. That's going to bring Mathis into it. Somebody's in the dirt further back. And now that we got 3 cars under a blanket for 6.
So in your professional opinion, Austin, did he point too much or did he score too much?
I knew damn well you were gonna say something about that. I don't think he pointed enough. I think
he did not
somebody
have it
squirted a
pointed.
little bit too much on his rear tires, and that's why he got sideways.
The corn dog, man.
The B Open race is always guaranteed to be the stupid one in the broadcast booth. I'm telling you, Paez tries to get by on the outside, not able to do it. He was shoved way wide. Mathis not willing to go for a dive down to his inside. Oh, but Handcamp's off the racetrack. He's going to give it all up. He's going to drop a couple spots. Coming back on. Drop him 3 positions all the way back to 9th. Dustin Tank ends up finding the way through. You could tell that was coming from Handcamp, though. He was starting to struggle, making a couple minor mistakes. Once you make about 4, 5, 6 minor mistakes, you know a big one's coming.
Oh, yeah, and also, you know, that mistake right there is a costly one, too, because it's going to be a couple corners before that thing starts to run right. You know, he just drove that thing. It's going to take a few corners before he can get the kitty litter off those tires and get it back where it needs to go.
God, I love whenever you say kitty litter.
That's what it is, ain't it?
I mean, if you... wait, I don't think he got... Well, did he get into the gravel?
He got in the gravel.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
It's all kitty litter from up here. I'm watching.
I can't say that. Never mind. Anyway,
No,
nothing. Maybe whenever we take a commercial break, I can let you in on that. But Garamain's still up in the race lead. Coming down to turn number 2, so he's got a half of a second gap. Not even a half a second. 4/10 of a second over Nick Ottinger. Ottinger not letting him get away, but Main's, and I don't feel like either of these guys are pushing too hard at this point. I'd like to see the close racing for the lead up here, though. Even after 9 laps at Road America, seeing these guys nose to tail, we know that we're in for a good race through the end of this thing. I do believe, unless one of them makes a massive mistake.
Oh, here's the thing, man. These two guys up front, how often do you see them make big mistakes? Especially when they're left to their own devices, without a worry about a caution or anything like that.
Not very often, man.
I got a feeling.
Not very often.
I got a feeling when this thing's over, when Maines goes to sleep tonight, he's gonna be looking over his shoulder.
Oh, he's looking over it right now.
Oh no!
You're talking about no mistakes.
Right in the kitty litter.
Oh, you got the kitty litter. Nick Ottinger's. Oh man, I've really got to keep this PG-13. Nick Ottinger sliding the right side tires into the gravel. Able to keep it on, but we were just talking. You jinxed it, Sheldon. 0 for 1.
Right into the tidy cats, man. Right into the tidy cats.
Unbelievable.
It's over. Done. Pack it up.
Someone wash his clothes.
I had to
He's got kitty
speak.
poop all over it.
Oh, I didn't say it was used kitty litter. You're the one that made it nasty.
I mean, who knows if it's used or not?
Mr. Point and Squirt over
I'm
here.
sure just used it. That's used kitty litter.
I hate it here.
Well,
I don't think he used it for the same purposes. If Ottinger has cat poop coming out of him, we got a problem here.
well, it could be coming out of the exhaust. Who knows what somebody stuffed in that thing?
Like, he needs to park it and go get that figured out. Little Daryl Watcher bombs away, I guess. Yeah, that would make sense.
It's weird. Doesn't mean that it's a negative. I mean, wouldn't you rather poop cat poop? It would be smaller. It wouldn't hurt as bad.
What kind of poop?
It was big. Right? I'm not, okay. Well, that sounds just a little bit bad. Don't read too far into that. Don't read too far into that,
buddy.
Tony. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on to that with an ad read to completely change the subject. Ryco Performance. We're more than a setup shop. We're a performance provider preparing you weekly with data and setups, not kitty litter, to get you ahead of the curve of the competition. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or a weekend warrior, our cutting-edge data packs and one-on-one coaching sessions are tailor-made to push the limits of yourself and your virtual race car, giving you the winning edge that you crave. Why should you choose Ryco Performance? Well, we have expert craftsmanship by a team of seasoned builders, cutting-edge performance enhancements tailored to your vehicle, and unrivaled coaching and reliability to handle the most demanding circuits on the iRacing platform. For more information, visit us at Ryco-Motorsports.com, where we build champions and deliver results. Big thank you to Ryco Performance for sponsoring the Ryco Performance Monday night top split and allowing us to put on a show out here week in and week out. Unfortunately, we will not have any racing this Friday night for the NIS Open portion because we don't follow the All-Star race. We don't get to do the All-Star race for NIS Open, unfortunately. But we're gonna get all the racing action in here tonight, and we'll get ready for next week whenever we've got the big fat Coke 600 a week from Friday.
I don't know. Did Ryco really need a plug after the absolute dog walking they put on at
No, they didn't.
Wilkesboro earlier?
They definitely didn't need one. But you know what? I needed something to change the subject.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I don't know. Anybody else that had anything? It looked like they just kind of brought a dog to a pony show for that deal.
Oh! The 8 and the 10, both sideways, and the 5. I think we're starting to see the tires fall off of a couple of these guys.
Yeah, we're at that point right now where there's just kind of like a little lull in the action. Don't have a whole. Everybody's kind of find themselves solo, so to speak.
Typical road course racing, right? It gets spread out a little bit, but we do have a nice little 3-car battle for the 9th place spot with Handcamp up at the lead of it, with Whitaker late on the brakes, almost into the back bumper. The 10 of Jesse Gordon was trying to look to the inside as well. And that's bringing John Payson into the fight, too. So we got a 4-car battle for 9th Handcamp. Handcamp sideways. That's a little bit too much curb. He's gotten into the grass. And just about ripped that thing around. Whitaker all over the back bumper again. Man, they're racing hard for 9th.
Just about gave him the horn there. Now, Whitaker, man, that's a long-standing name in this series. He's been here as long as I've been here.
You calling him old? I mean, you're a dad.
Hey, sir. Oh, no, I have insults, but I don't think they're PG.
Oh, well, that's fair. We'll save them for after the.
And
after the race.
we got to pause a little bit on it because I know Ken's probably sitting there scratching his head watching this thing right now.
Well, I wouldn't blame. Look, I think he's come accustomed. Oh, hand camp off the racetrack. He's sideways. Okay, well, decent save. I got to be honest from hand camp, but he's starting to make a couple mistakes. But he's going to drop back. He's going to lose all those 3 positions that we were talking about. But that could have been a lot worse. He very well could have killed that thing.
I'll tell you what, man, that thing looks evil.
It does.
Like he has been. Anytime we've had
zone.
Yeah. I think he just overdrove it at the start and wore the back tires off that dang thing. I mean, he's doing good hopping the curbs and everything, but
it's so easy to get on the gas just a little bit too early here. And this is the old scan of Road America, so we don't have the new fresh pavement that doesn't kill your tires. This is a little worn out.
Yep, as our producer just said, #soon.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get it. Well, are we going to get it at some point? NASCAR didn't come here anymore, so they might not have a reason to do it.
The B car Xfinity doesn't come here anymore?
I don't think so.
I could have swore they did. I thought it was just Cup that left.
Does Xfinity still come here? I thought we all left. Either way.
I think it was a mistake that they left this place, honestly.
Oh, I agree. They were bringing out over 100,000 fans. Whitaker is freaking struggling, man. Oh, I think he just called it quits. Yeah, he did. Well.
And Camp called it quits. Yeah, he was.
Or hand camp, sorry. My mistake.
Dying loose. And if you look up at the front here, it looks like Ottinger's starting to cut back into that little bit of a disparity that he had with Garrett Maines when he had that little mistake earlier.
He was about 2.5 tenths of a second faster than him that lap.
Mm-hmm. See, what I'm wondering is what strategy is going to play out to be. I don't know what the fuel window is here. I'm ashamed to say.
I don't know it off the top of my head either. Our producer's thinking that they're going to be pitting about halfway for tires, which, I mean, makes sense, right? If you're going to take tires, you might as well split it perfectly halfway. But if they don't take tires, because I feel like some people might not take tires, right? I mean, you gain a good bit of track time. I wonder, how much fall off are we seeing so far? I'm going to look at Garrett Maines' first couple laps. Well, he's got a good chunk of fall off, to be fair. He was running 112.1s even behind the back bumper of Joe Armstrong earlier. And now he's running, 214s. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like you're going to have to come down and take tires.
I mean, those are still rocket times, too, though, at the same time.
Are you surprised? After what we just saw in the A Open? I mean, whew.
No, I'm not. Look, you got 2 animals up here at the front.
Yeah, you ain't kidding about that. Ottinger's starting to fall off a little bit, though. This lap has not been quite as tidy for the driver of the 2.
I do want to
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I do want to throw it out to Armstrong, though. He's sitting back here. He's matching times with the front, too. He's running a good race. It's that little mistake earlier. It cost him. Since everybody's so equal up here in the first 2 spots, it's hard to carve back into that.
How about Todd Peterson, too? He's not running too far off of these guys either. I mean, he's 10 seconds or 9 seconds back, but he's not losing a ton of time.
No, all these guys that are, keeping in between the lines doing pretty solid. The first time disparity is Blair Wickett, but he's still relatively competitive, sitting there in the 5th position, that number 9 Ford.
Well, I think we're going to use this little lull in the action as we've had a couple little mistakes and the field spread out a little bit to take our final commercial break of the racing action. Whenever we come back, we're going to try to get green flag pit stops. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance, Monday Night Top Split, the big open race from Road America on the grid. Nick Ottinger, our second place runner, is going to be the first to pit, pulling the undercut on Garrett Maines. Going to have to see how they cycle through. I imagine Maines will probably come down this lap just to cover off his challenger here for P1.
Yeah, right now, if you're Ottinger, you're out here running time trial laps, trying to get as much of that distance that Maines built between you and him carved down so you can have a nice little advantage when he comes out of pit road. Because that a couple, seconds where the tire fall off is a huge, huge difference.
It really is, but it does take some time to get those tires warmed up too, right? So you got to make sure that you can get those tire temps up, and really be able to run those fast lap times. Now you probably get them heated up in about half a lap, 3/4 of a lap here, but the lap is so long that's still a minute and a half that you're out there struggling a little bit, just trying to get the grip hooked up. And Garrett Maines is staying out on the racetrack.
That's going to be a huge. I think that's going to be a huge detriment for Maines here. Personally, unless he's trying to go for the full, full run without pitting. But I don't know if you can do that on fuel.
Let's look at Ottinger, if we can, on the broadcast. He's got 2 lap cars, or not 2 lap cars, but 2 cars in front of him that have not pitted yet. If they don't pit this time by, Ottinger's going to catch them on the next lap and likely get held up a little bit, and that could be Garrett Maines' saving grace.
I mean, also at the same time, though, I don't know, because you remember when we watched Ottinger work his way through the field at the start, he was just getting the cars in the corner and getting by them. It's like he was dropping an extra gear. And that was on equal tires.
You're definitely not wrong about that, but it is tough through the center of the corner if you get hung up behind somebody. Not really able to tell quite how much he's catching if he is on Maines, but he is going to dive to the inside of Paez there and take that spot over. So minimal time loss there for Ottinger. Last time by, obviously leaving pit road, Ottinger ran at 2:42, so not quite able to kind of gauge what they're running against each other. But Garrett Maines, who is running 2:12s in the early going, is running 2:14.3s. Ottinger, whenever he was on new tires, he got all the way down to a 2:11.4 at one point. So you got to think he's going to be pretty daggum quick this lap. Even making these 2 passes as Blair Wickett honestly breaks a little bit early for him. Good, smart move there from Blair, not fighting the position, letting Ottinger through. Ottinger, I don't know, he might jump Garrett Maines with Maines giving him a 2-lap advantage.
Absolutely. I don't see any way that he couldn't, as fast as Ottinger's been. And, as easy as it was for him to get through the traffic, I can't imagine the Mains would be able to get through it much cleaner.
Garrett Mains will have 2-lap pressure tires, and Mains might not have to get through the traffic. You got to think these other guys might pit by the time Mains pits too, right? They might pit on the same lap, so he wouldn't even have to fight through the traffic.
It's potential, but you also got to figure too what time, at what point do these tires plateau on fall off?
I think they have. He's been running low 214s pretty consistently.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying like at what point is his set of tires going to equalize with Ottinger, especially with that huge advantage that Ottinger is going to have from the undercut?
Well, Mains got to the high 213s 9 laps into it, so it's going to take about 9 laps for them to plateau. So I feel like that's plenty of time for him to use the advantage. We'll just have to see where he comes out. It all depends on how big of a lead Ottinger has over him, because I believe Ottinger's going to have the lead after this.
Oh, yeah. I don't see any way it's possible that he wouldn't.
Joe Armstrong's still on the racetrack, though. He's running this really, really long. Todd Peterson doing the same thing in second place as well. Ottinger coming over the hill on the front straightaway. Garrett Mains still in his pit box, waiting to see the right side tires going up for Mains, and he's by. Ottinger is by. Oh, it's not even close. Holy cow, I did not think it would be that massive of an advantage. That's huge from Ottinger. Ran a 2:11 last time by.
Look at this. Mains is going to get by these cars that Ottinger had to pass through. He's going to blow by him in the first corner.
So Mains got lucky with that, but that's...
Mains got really lucky. All he's got now is clean racetrack between him and Ottinger.
That's a bigger advantage than I thought it would be, though, man. Way, way bigger. 6 seconds, almost. 5.5.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to carve yourself out of.
Ottinger's in lap was a 2:24.6. Garrett Mains' in lap was a 2:25.7. So the in lap alone was a second slower than Ottinger's was. Whether that be, charging pit road or maybe making a mistake out on the racetrack, that added to it. Ottinger was a little over 2 seconds a lap faster on the fresh tires, and that leads itself to a 5-second gap, 5.5-second gap that he's got over Garrett Mains. But Mains has 2-lap fresher tires. And again, they plateau after 9 laps, or at least we think so. About 9 or 10 laps into the run, they're going to plateau. But so he's got to do everything he can here in the early going to run down that gap.
You've also got to factor in too, though. Catching him's one thing, passing's another. We saw how hard it was for Mains to get by Armstrong at the start of this thing. Yeah, we saw how hard it was for Ottinger to try and make a move to get by Mains. So, he could very well hold him at bay. By the time that he gets up to him, he could just hold him back there and burn his tires off for him.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's gonna be close. Armstrong's still staying out on the racetrack. Peterson coming in, net P4 position, but coming in from the second place as they run. I don't know. We got a little bit of intrigue here now. Can Mains run him down?
That was a good question. And also, let's see what kind of times is Armstrong. Armstrong's only 3 seconds off. I mean, I know it's 3 seconds, but I mean that's a huge gap. Those tires are going to plateau before Mains can even get up to him. It's gotten pretty interesting.
Yeah, I honestly thought that this would be the less intriguing out of the 2 races tonight, but Ryco decided that they were going to bring the best setup of all time to North Wilkesboro. So we had a little bit of a stinker in the A Open, but the B Open's shaping up to be pretty feisty between Mains and Ottinger. It just depends on how these tires come in for Mains.
What's the gap between those two right now? Is it still 5?
5 seconds. It was 5.5. He's got it down to 5.
I also wouldn't be surprised if Ottinger's saving a little bit of tire here. He's running 212s. We know he can go out here and run 210s.
Well, he does have a couple laps on him now, though. He could run them probably at the very beginning of a run, but you got to think 3 or 4 laps in, it's going to be harder to hold that pace. Main's still reeling him in just ever so slightly. Another 10th chopped out of it. You got to think Mains had to get the tires up to temperature too. After the pit stop, he had to get the tires up to temp, so they were probably a little cold for the first half lap. Lost him a little bit more time, but now that they're up to temperature, he seems to be cutting into that lead.
And right now, Mains is in a good spot. He can see him out the window now.
Battle for 7th is the closest on the racetrack with Dustin Tank running in the 7th place position. Chris Mathis about a second behind in the 8th place position. And then another second and a half back is Jesse Gordon trying to run his way up here and make it another little bit of a battle. I believe that's a lap car stuck
car
in
off
the
the
middle.
track here. Joe
Kitty litter.
Dutch has gone off into the kitty litter, taking the old John Deere machine out there, and got a little confused. I guess he started trying to cut the grass outside of the corner.
Cut the kitty litter.
Not the kitty litter, man.
John Deere green, baby. That's some... Oh, man. Garrett is flying, isn't he? Let's see. This is going to be the first time where we can really compare the lap times as he comes across the line. Garrett Maines, this time by, ran a 2:11.42 to Nick Ottinger's 2:12.34. So almost a second cut out of the lead there, that lap for Garrett Maines. And Armstrong still on the racetrack.
Nevchow's got Ottinger running 2:12 laps back to back here. I don't know, because I don't know like how fast the tires are going to fall off here, because I mean it is a road course. We have a million dang corners wrapped around this thing compared to where we normally go. You know, it's harder for me to call, but
Yeah,
we'll figure it
I
out
agree.
together.
It's tough. Yeah, I mean we're definitely going to. He does have again to that point a 2-lap advantage here is massive, right? I mean that's 8 laps at an oval.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty significant. But to your point earlier, if Ottinger can hang on to that lead long enough to for the tires to stabilize, right, to reach that plateau point, then he'll be okay. But I don't think that happens until lap 25, 26 for Garrett Maines. So he's still got to hang on to this for another 7 or so.
Yeah, but it also comes down to, you know, how aggressive is Maines driving, how much is he sliding the tires, how much is he, you know, pinching himself off in the corners, trying to find a little bit extra.
I pinch myself off in the corners all the time.
Back to the kitty litter comments. Got it. As me snort, I'm done.
No Diddy.
We got a pig in the booth.
We might. Miss Piggy might make an appearance.
Oh no.
I got Kermit lined up for you. Joe Armstrong finally coming in on lap number 18. Going to relinquish the lead to Nick Ottinger. And that lead is still coming down a little bit. We're going to be paying attention to it every single lap. I'm going to be calling out lap times just to kind of alert everybody. I know that you can see the chart on the left. You can do the math yourself, but I think it's a lot easier to be able to call out the lap times lap after lap and really be able to visualize how much Garrett Maines is gaining. And you can see him on the camera angle as they came up the hill. Garrett Maines is within the same camera shot. Coming across the line this time, Ottinger, 2:12.83. Garrett Maines, 2:11.96. So another 9/10. It's been 9/10 back-to-back laps.
Yeah, we're gonna see. It's gonna get froggy, I can tell you that. Kermit.
I can't whip out the Kermit voice during the... I can't do it.
Oh, we've done worse.
Oh, we definitely have. Definitely have. I've done the Kermit voice on broadcast before, but we're gonna keep it in the back pocket for now.
Oh, okay.
I might bring out the Mickey Mouse.
Oh, Toodles.
That one's an easy one though, right? There's not too much skill behind a Mickey Mouse.
No, Mickey Mouse is like the Talladega of impressions.
Anybody can do it.
Yep.
Just hold your foot flat open. A foot flat open? Yeah, that makes sense.
Flat.
I'm not even gonna try to fix that.
Yeah, based on the
What's
things you
that?
told me tonight, I think you might want to go see a doctor, brother.
I might.
Your foot's flat open. Something about cat stuff.
Yeah, we're addicted to kitty litter. I'm snorting kitty litter on the weekends.
What's your favorite flavor? I like the lavender.
I like pit. Yeah, you meant like if it actually had flavors, not like cat excrement flavor.
Oh, boys, we got a problem with
Miss
ammonia.
Piggy is coming out. Oh man, the snorts are flying.
Yeah, apparently kitty litter snorts, but either way, back to the racing. We're going down into Canada corner.
I'm gonna have to go out and get a cat.
Yeah.
So that at least, like, whenever people come over, I can make the excuse why I have kitty litter.
I mean, it would be cool to have a cat in the booth.
They don't do anything.
Well, What, a cat in the booth? It'd probably make better calls than both of us combined.
I mean, wow.
No, like, because we. How do I say this PC wise?
You don't.
Okay, I'll put it this way. My crowns are sharp. I just topped off my bottle of glue. My helmet's on tight.
Oh no. Are we going to eat some crayons?
My favorite flavor is purple.
Well, that makes sense since you're a lavender kitty litter flavor kind of guy.
Yeah, I like purple, man. It's a good color. Royalty.
I do too. Grape anything is good.
Oh my god, yeah. Even though just about everything that says grape on it just tastes like the color purple. It doesn't taste like grape.
I mean, I don't know.
That's
I don't think
water.
purple has a flavor, buddy. I think that's just grape, and it happens to be purple.
I don't know how to make blue raspberry either, but it sure is blue.
Okay. What's your favorite kind of waffle?
Chocolate
I
chip.
like chocolate chip. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's the perfect way to get out of that one.
Yeah.
Armstrong on the much fresher tires, I believe, is going to be able to pull away from Peterson here. He gave up a lot of time on that pit stop, or waiting on the pit stop, but he's done a good job getting that position back, hanging on to it, and I think he'll end up driving away and hanging on to that third place spot as long as he doesn't have an issue. But Peterson's having a heck of a race too, sitting back there in the fourth place spot. He's got a 40-second gap back to fifth.
And right now, go back to the front here for a second.
It's stabilized.
Our boy G Mains whittled that thing down to 3 seconds, and there's not really much going on from there.
Yeah, the last half lap, he might have even lost a tenth.
I think Ottinger was saving his stuff a little bit, letting Mains work his way up to him. Now he's just, toying with him, maintaining the gap.
Got a ball of yarn. Gonna send him into the kitty litter.
Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
This is a very strange broadcast. Road courses tend to be that way sometimes. Whenever you only have 15 cars out on the track, you get some stupid comments from the booth. Garrett Mains had a pretty good last sector, though. Ended up picking up 2/10.
Well, awesome. They got the two brightest young men in all of iRacing to sit here and talk in the middle of the night about cars 3 seconds apart from each other. Calculated.
Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking.
But I want to say, this has been a pretty entertaining race. There's been a lot of good little points here and there, and I'm having a good time.
Yeah, until the pit stops, it was pretty daggum close around everywhere. I feel like Maine's kind of messed up, waiting a little bit too late to make the pit stop. Now he's gained another 2/10 since the start of this lap, so maybe the last lap was just a little bad from him. Maybe he had a couple mistakes in the first half of the course. Well, again, it kind of climbs up that long straightaway. The gap climbs back up.
Yeah, no, he got a good little dart down that back straightaway, and he really put a good gap on him on Mains there. And I think what Mains is doing is I think he's really good at attacking his entry, but I really think Ottinger's getting that drive off. I think Mains.
These guys just know how to use all the racetrack. It's fantastic to watch.
Oh yeah, I'd spin just about every corner that these guys have taken if I try to do what they're doing.
I mean, they are literally using every inch. Like Garrett Mains coming out of the left-hander before the carousel. I mean, him and Ottinger both. I mean, there's pixels between their right rear tire and the kitty litter, and they just don't even kick up any of it, right? Like they're just keeping it out of it, using absolutely all the racetrack. I mean, look at Mains there, all the way out to the end of the rumble curve, just making sure he uses every little bit of the racetrack, even dipping down almost into the grass on the apex, almost out to the grass on exit. I mean, it's fantastic to watch. You can learn a little bit from watching these guys. And let me give advice to anybody watching. The best way to get good at one of these at iRacing is if you're a novice at it, if you're new, go into a practice session where you've got a 6, 7, 8,000 iRating guy and just watch his onboard and mimic what he's doing. I'm telling you, you will learn so much. And this goes for road courses, it goes for ovals, anything. Watch some of the faster guys, be a student of the game, go out there and learn. You're going to learn a whole hell of a lot, especially if you're lucky enough to get on board with Garrett Mains or Nick Ottinger. Go on board with Garrett Mains for a while to show you exactly what he's doing.
And what you're seeing right here, this is the reason why these guys get paid to run these things, and you and I get paid to talk about them. These guys are no joke. There's a reason that they are in the Pro Series. These are some of the best out there.
One of the most important things you can do in one of these cars is really learning, and this sounds stupid because it's like no crap, but I can't tell you how many people I come up behind or start racing with that are, you know, no disrespect to anybody, but in the 1Ks, in the 2Ks, in the 3Ks, that don't know the width of their race car. They don't know where that left side door is. They don't know where those right side tires are, and they just don't use all the racetrack. Whenever you watch these pros, man, it's ridiculous. It makes me feel like I don't know where the right side of my race car is.
Look at that, just absolute confidence over the curve.
I mean, it looks like from this point of view, it looks like he's off the racetrack on that left-hand curb, right? Like his tape in the middle of the wheel is almost even with the left side of the curb. That is how far left he is. That sounded political.
That's a rabbit hole we won't go into.
No, we're definitely not. But just an observation.
Just look at the confidence though behind the wheel here. Look at him using every bit of these rumble strips, using every bit of the track, clipping the grass a little bit here and there where he knows it's not going to send him straight into the outside fence. Like, that just comes from lots of practice, lots of preparation, lots of years running this. Like, these guys ran this place in the Pro Series for a little bit. So they've had to learn every inch of this track just to be competitive. Because that is a competitive series.
Like I said, though, learning the sides of the race car, just being on board for this lap, I feel like I've learned where the left side of the Xfinity car is better. I mean, just from watching this for a lap, you can just see how far you can go out to the left side of the racetrack before you're actually touching the grass. It almost looks unreal how far to the side you can get using all of the racetrack, extending it. But you got to be smart on that throttle pedal, right? If you get on it just a little bit too much, you push yourself out into the dirt. So it's obviously it's a lot of steering input, but just as much it's how you're utilizing the throttle, how you're utilizing the brake getting into the corner. Garrett Maines does it masterfully. We haven't even gotten to pay attention to Ottinger the last couple of laps, but he's doing just about the same. And as I say it, he kind of power slid out of turn number 2, might give up a little bit of time down this straightaway.
Yeah, right now that gap between Ottinger and Maines has dropped down from a nice little 3-second cushion. And it's dropped down to about 2.3 seconds. So now Ottinger's having to pick it back up and try and figure out, what do I need to do to be better than Maines right now.
Man, see, it looks like he gets sideways there on entry. It almost looked like the back end stepped out, but that's like a controlled slide, right? It's not like it's actually anything detrimental to the car. Maybe it runs up the records just a little bit, but these guys know how to stick the rear fenders out, utilize the air to get a good run.
Oh, and Joe Dush right in the way.
Dutch is in the way on the middle of the run, and that's going to cut into the lead. Huge.
That's a massive issue that you could not have, especially at this point in the run, this close to the end. That's just carved about 1.5 seconds out of that time.
Yeah, that over halved the race, the gap to the second place driver, Garrett Maines. Garrett Maines is saying thank you very much, Joe Dutch.
I'll run in this series. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
You think he's gonna take a visit to Holland after this one if he wins?
I doubt it. You did hurt my brain. My brain's hurting.
Dutch.
Oh, Canada.
Oh boy.
Oh, it is a 9/10 of a second gap now.
Land of hockey and free healthcare. I really don't know much about Canada.
I know too much.
I just know the stereotypes.
Oh, hey there, bud.
Oh, hey there, bud. Should we call the rest of the race like Canadians,
Oh, we got a Canada-style broadcast.
Oh, yeah, we got maple syrup in the booth. I'm telling you right now. Look, I can't. Okay, my producer's saying that's Irish. I cannot hold a single accent for some reason. I went Irish and then Indian in the middle of that. I don't really know what to tell you guys. Yeah, that was. I got the Kermit impersonation, but the accents for some reason morph into different things.
He's caught another 0.2 seconds out of that lead here.
Thank you for changing it back to the racing. I appreciate you.
Maines is on the way here.
And an issue like that where Ottinger runs up on the slow carb, Joe Dutch gets a little bit of contact on the nose. It doesn't have any damage on the front end of Ottinger, but it puts you off for a little bit. It takes a little bit to get back into your groove, right?
Yeah, it's a heavy rhythm-based racetrack. As soon as you get knocked out of the groove a little bit, it feels like it takes you about 2-3 laps to finally get working back how you want it's not really 2 or 3 laps to spare on that. And honestly, at this point too, Maine sees him just right out of reach. Maine's going to do everything he can now that he knows that he's got the opportunity to get there. He's going to do everything he can to get to him. And it's not going to be an easy couple of laps for Ottinger.
Maine just looks a little steadier through the corners, man. Ottinger's starting to slide a little bit.
Yeah, I think Ottinger's. I mean, I don't even know what to think. That lap car really got to him there.
It sounds like it got to you. Those 2 brain cells are working overtime.
Yeah, dude, the hamster has passed out and fallen off the wheel. We got more lap traffic ahead of us too. This could get even froggier.
Oh man. No, it's not going to happen. There's only 1 lap car in front of him, though. Hopefully they can catch him in a good spot where it doesn't affect the race too heavily. The 13 on the outside of the final corner, taking a normal line here, but I believe Ottinger's going to catch him in a good spot. Yep, the 13 pulls over to the right side, allows our race leaders to go by. Good job from Stadell there, getting out of the way. But the gap has closed down to 0.4 of a second. Garrett Maines is there. 6 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, Stadell has not had a good race, so I'm happy to see that he moved out because he could have made it a lot worse for everybody involved.
Yeah, whenever you're not racing anybody, get out of the way, especially in a road course like this. I mean, there's literally nobody even close to you, so get out of the way for the race leaders, man. Do it. I can't, and I'm not trying to harp on Joe Dutch for that issue earlier, but I've seen time and time again, like there's a lack of respect for the leaders sometimes of these things, and people think I'm entitled to my line on the racetrack. Well, give some respect. That's what I gotta say to that. Show these guys some respect. Get out of the daggum way if you're not fighting.
Oh man, Maines just closed it up huge here. He's within striking distance.
Yeah, he's close. This is on, and there's 6 laps left, man. He's got a lot of time to make this pass, and he still has those 2 lap pressure tires. And they do start plateauing here pretty soon. We were talking about in between 25 to 27 is that plateau point. So are we gonna? Is Garrett Maines gonna be able to get by before we get to it?
I think the plateau point at this point is out the window because these 2 have closed back up that gap, that cushion that Ottinger is relying on to get this thing over with. That's all gone. You've got hungry Maines right on your back bumper here, and we know that Maines can be aggressive. And I mean, honestly, I do too. I mean, he's going for the double here on the stream. How cool would it be to sit down and say, "Hey, I won both of them tonight."
Yeah, especially because he doesn't run the B Open too often, huh? So he comes over here and races another Coke Pro to a victory potentially after dominating the North Wilkesboro race that somehow went green for 140 laps. I mean, that would be a heck of a night for Garrett Maines.
Absolutely. And these guys have put on a masterful performance. Like, there's not another person out here in the same zip code as them.
It's really not even close. I mean, nobody is anywhere close. Armstrong's running a little bit faster lap times than them, but he was on a different pit strategy, pitted about 3 laps after Garrett Maines, I believe, 3 or 4, which would put him at 5 or 6 newer laps than Ottinger. So he's running down the race leaders, but 15, 16 seconds back, just not going to be enough for Armstrong, but still a heck of a performance from our driver of the number 4, putting in a really good shift here at Road America. Garrett Maines through the last sector of the racetrack, though, actually fell off the back bumper of Ottinger a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I think obviously Ottinger just got a way better corner there, but Maine seems to be just flying through this section, especially on the track, really sharp, night in the corners.
It's heating up. 5 laps to go. It's anybody's best guess who's going to bring it home, man. I know that Garrett Maines has the tire advantage, but the clean air does mean a lot. You've seen as soon as Garrett Maines got to the back bumper of Ottinger, it's been a little bit tougher for him, but man, he makes it up in the braking zone down into the left-hander, then coming under the bridge. Garrett Maines is just really, really steady under braking, and he's able to dive it in just a little bit deeper than Nick time and time again.
Yeah, that's his thing. All race long, Maines has been out braking everyone. Like, he's sending into these corners. He's going so fast it looks like he ain't gonna make it, and he somehow finds the grip to pull it out. Like,
it's the downhill corners, man. Look at that. Yeah. Downhill, he is way better downhill.
What that doing in a V8 supercar?
Send him around Bathurst, see what he can do.
Like,
yeah.
Honestly, kind of curious to see it.
I think Maines can drive just about anything. I've seen some of it on his Instagram or maybe a YouTube. I don't remember what it was a couple years ago or a couple months ago. I remember seeing him running some other like road course cars that, I mean, just phenomenal lap times. So it doesn't really surprise me that he can, you know, put up lap times like this in a Xfinity car at a road course. Not surprising whatsoever. Not surprising for Nick Ottinger either. I know we're harping on Garrett Maines running him now, but Ottinger's run a hell of a race. Great strategy to get him to the track position. Got screwed over by a lap car to cost him a second and a half, and allowed Maines to creep up to his back bumper. But regardless, Ottinger's ran a great race. He's been up there. He's been contending. Drove up from 10th to 1st in just a handful, or 10th to 2nd in just a handful of laps, and has been in this dogfight with Garrett Maines ever since.
Yeah, like let's also throw it back too. The whole reason Ottinger had to take that other pit strategy and go on the offense instead of the defense with Maines here is because he had that one little corner where he made a little bit of a mistake. Got the 2 tires off the track and put him back about a second and a half or something like that. These guys have been identical this entire race.
Ottinger just a little bit wider through turn 2 there, coming down to the back straightaway. Not necessarily the worst thing. You can maybe get back onto the throttle, let the back end hang out a little bit, and still get a good run as we see down the back stretch. Or I don't even know if you call this the back straightaway. There's like 3 or 4 straightaways on this daggone track. But Maines again in the braking zone, man, all the way up to the back bumper, pushing up through the corner. He's there again, all over the back bumper. He's shoving him. Not giving Ottinger an
he got an amazing exit there over Ottinger.
Oh my word, dude, he's not giving him any room. Oh, he's gonna do it again here. Heavier on the brakes remains all over the back bumper of Ottinger once again before we get into the carousel. Shoving him through the last 3, 4 corners. Garrett Maines has finally a little bit of breathing room for Ottinger through the carousel as the dirty air gets to Maines on the long, sweeping right-hander, and then we got the fast kink right after. Who gets a better run out of the kink? Can Ottinger hang off coming down to Canada corner?
Hey, shall we get a roof camera on Maines here?
Oh, that would be great.
Because I want to see that.
I just want to see him close up in the braking zone, man. It's just, him braking has just been ridiculous. Exactly. Down in the Canada corner. Once again, not quite up to the back bumper of Ottinger this time, but keep it close enough to where he can potentially challenge down into turn 1. But we're going to be coming to 3 laps to go. He is running out of time.
Yeah, this one, I could not tell you right now. I'm just going to walk out of this one the winner.
Oh, Ottinger a little wide on entry. That's going to give Maines the run through the center of the corner. Not enough to get a huge run, but he's tucked up under the back bumper of Nick Ottinger. He should get a huge draft down the front straightaway. Does Ottinger go defensive?
You have to. Yep, here he comes with the big block. Oh, and Maines is going to come up to the top.
Oh, does he push him? Does he move him? Oh, a little bit of contact. This is good racing between the top 2. This is what you expect from a couple of Coke Series guys. Oh, he's in the back bumper again. He's there, man. He's there. This is great between these two. I'm loving it.
Can we please get a roof camera?
I don't know if we've got one on deck. Well, we got the inboard. That's close.
Oh, here we go. Oh, with a huge move to the outside. What can he do with it? Oh, he's going to go to the board. He's not going to be able to get it.
This is, dude, whatever road, I'm telling you, stock cars can put on a good show if you've got 2 guys that are close in pace. It's so good, man. I love it. Garrett Maines is putting all the pressure on Ottinger, but Ottinger's standing tall right now in the race lead. He's not letting it get to him.
Ottinger's a dang Iceman out here right now. Oh my God, this has been amazing to watch. Maines is still just about attached. It's going to take him a little bit to recollect himself after that attempted pass on the outside.
This is epic, man. This is awesome. I love these Xfinity cars around the road courses. All you got to do is get a couple guys that are close to pace or close on pace, and you get ridiculous racing, man. We see it at Road America time and time again in real life with the Xfinity cars. These things just put on a hell of a show around this place. And we got Garrett Maines and Nick Ottinger putting on another one, coming to 2 laps to go. Still a couple corners before we get there. Coming down to the heavy braking zone of Canada corner.
Oh, Canada. Yeah, Maines it doesn't look like he's able to get much on Ottinger on the second half of the track. But what he does get on him, he gets in that first half, and man, it is a terrifying place to be Ottinger.
Yeah, Ottinger is a little bit better through the second half. That's a great point. He's able to stretch it out. So Maines, I really feel like he has to get the move done before the end of the first half of the last lap. And he's lost a lot of ground right there.
Yeah, he caught the grass there coming out of that last corner and got a little bit of wheel spin. It's going to slow him up down this long straightaway.
2 to go. 2 to go. This time by, we got about 4.5 minutes left in the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split be open from Road America. Great night of racing. Not many cautions throughout the 2 races. Obviously none in this one. Can't have any of the road courses, but regardless, the next gen at North Wilkesboro was caution-free for the last 140, and well, here at Road America, it's been a hell of a battle coming down to 2 Coke Series drivers for the win. Only 0.2 of a second between them, and this is Maines' corner. This is the corner that Garrett Maines has been way better than Ottinger at. Can he make the dive move down into the left-hander before we get under the bridge?
Here he comes. He's charging that braking zone. Ottinger with a huge block to the outside. Maines pushing him through the corner.
Ottinger's just putting that car exactly where he needs to defend, man. Oh, Maines finds the back bumper, slides out the rear end just a little bit. He's going to lose a bit of time.
That is a costly loss for Maines. It's late in the race. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it back. I'm sure he's going to try.
Especially because we're coming up to the half of the track that Ottinger's better at. Oh, Maines lose again. Pushing it just a little bit too far. Payson getting out of the way for both of these guys as they come through. Maines lost another 10 through that corner.
I think we've reached the plateau point. Through the carousel, none of them's going to gain anything on each other here. It's just going to come out dead even.
Not only did we reach the plateau point, but Garrett Maines might have burnt up those tires a little bit with that sideways.
I think he did. It's bad time on the race to have that problem.
I think he's going to need a mistake from Ottinger. He's in the section of the racetrack that Ottinger's been just a little bit better than Garrett Maines. Through the right-hander of Canada corner, pretty even between the two, but Ottinger just about stretches that lead out to a second. Doesn't quite get there. Oh, now it does as we go through the left-hander. It's just tight between these two. They're running almost identical lap times. Garrett Maines just with one mistake that could cost him the race. Coming back onto the front straightaway, I should say. 1 lap to go this time for Nick Ottinger. Can Garrett Maines run it back down? Will there be a mistake from the driver of the number 25? Which Coke Series driver is it going to be from Road America?
Right now, Maines is going to need a huge mistake out of Ottinger to be able to carve that lead down to something he can actually do something with. And I don't think you're getting out of Ottinger. He held tight the entire time Maines was riding his bumper. He held tight through all the bumps. I honestly think it's up to Ottinger at this point.
Well, Maines slides it. Ottinger slides it. Looks like it's a little bit better in Ottinger's favor this time. This is coming down to Garrett Maines' corner. How much time can he gain this time?
I don't know, man.
It's got to be too much, man. 1.1 seconds. He's got to hope for a mistake. Man, look at him use all the racetrack. Absolutely all the racetrack from Garrett Maines. Trying everything he can. A little wide on exit, though. I think that's going to do it.
Neither one of these two make big mistakes like that. Like, these guys have raced each other hard. They've raced each other smart all race. A lot of respect between these two. You can see it here.
My goodness. Nick Ottinger blinked out there for a moment. I thought he was gone. But yeah, like you said, this has been tremendously clean, right? Maines absolutely could have just moved him out of the way, right? He gave him bumps. He gave him pushes through the center of the corner, but it was nothing that was ever going to wreck Nick. No. And it obviously came off worse for Garrett through the corner before the bridge, but it wasn't anything bad, right? Like there was no malice in it. He's raced him unbelievably clean. And credit to Nick Ottinger for the strategy call, pitting 2 laps before Garrett Maines, giving himself the track position, allowing himself to have the opportunity to play defense.
Yeah, that was a really good power play by Ottinger. And these two have just worn each other out all race long, and it has been a blast to sit here and watch this and call it.
I love these race cars. These two have put on a hell of a show from Road America tonight. And it looks like it's going to be Nick Ottinger that's going to bring home the checkered flag as he comes around the final corner for the final time. Nick Ottinger coming up the hill one last time. Garrett Maines trying all he can through the last corner, but it's not going to be enough for the driver of the one. It's going to be Nick Ottinger who's going to win from the Road America. God bless. I knew I was going to mess that up, man. But he wins for Road America in the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split on the grid. Congratulations to Nick Ottinger. congratulations to Garrett Baines for the second place and for putting on a hell of a show. That's what you come and watch these races for. That was fantastic.
I almost want to throw a congratulations to Armstrong because he held that same gap that entire last stretch to Ottinger and Maines. And those two cats are hard to keep up with.
Gosh. Well, we're going to take one final commercial break, and then we're going to try to get some interviews between our top three. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull too many of them up, but if we can get in touch with Nick, get in touch with Garrett, get in touch with Joe, we're going to try to pull them up to the booth. Just one last commercial break. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance's Monday Night Top Split from Road America. Not the Road America. I don't know what I was saying on that final call. But we're going to run through our final race results. Nick Ottinger and Garrett Maines at the top two steps of the podium. Big congrats to Nick Ottinger. Hell of a battle between those two. That was fantastic racing. Two guys, even pace at a road course, puts on a hell of a show. Joe Armstrong rounds out the podium. Only 14 seconds back from the two pros. So great job from Joe here to finish in the third place position. Todd Peterson is going to round out fourth place with Christopher Paez in fifth, Dustin Tank sixth, Michael Whitaker seventh, Jesse Gordon in eighth, John Pace in ninth, Zachary Wells rounds out the top 10 with David Siddell in 11th, Joe Dutch in 12th, Blair Wickett in 13th, Chris Mathis in 14th, and Jalen Handcamp rounds out your 15-car field. We're going to jump straight into our post-race interviews. I do believe we have Joe Armstrong, so we're going to talk to our third-place finisher first. Joe, do we have a copy buddy?
Yes, you do. What's up?
Man, good race from you today, finishing in the third place spot. I felt like you had pretty good pace compared to the two pros up to the top, or up at the top of the board. Obviously, you put on a hell of a fight at the beginning of the race. Just kind of walk us through your race and just the pace that you had here tonight.
Yeah, I qualified on pole, and so I didn't think that I was going to be able to win. I thought I'd be able to kind of keep in touch a little bit better than I did. Led the first few laps, but they were hounding me from behind, and Nick didn't even qualify and got up to third in a couple laps. So I knew it was going to be a tough fight, especially with it being 30 laps and the laps being pretty long, a lot of corners and stuff to make mistakes. And I got too deep into the hurry downs, I think that's what it's called, and let Garrett get by, and then Nick got by. At that point, I was like, all right, just ride and try to learn a few things. Like you said, they're pro guys. They've been in Coke and professionals for a while now, so I'm trying to get there, and the only way to get there is to race with those guys. So even though I finished third and was a ways away from winning the race technically with the 15-second gap, I feel like I did improve a little bit throughout the race, and that's really all you can ask for when you're racing against those guys. So I guess they put in a good battle for the people watching, and I wish I could have been up there, but to finish third to those guys, I take that as a win, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, 15 seconds to two pros in a 30-lap race around Road America, which takes a hot minute to get around too. That's nothing to hang your head on, man. I mean, that's hella impressive. Those are two unbelievably quick guys that everybody knows about, right? Everybody knows that they win races time and time again, and you being that close, I mean, that just says a lot to your pace. I mean, heck, you beat Garrett Maines in qualifying. Who the hell beats Garrett Maines in qualifying? That was
Right.
super impressive from you all night, man. Who do you have to thank for your performance tonight? Who puts the setup under you?
Shout out to Outliers, Speedco, and Express Esports. Those guys are kicking ass. I don't know if I can say that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We say a lot worse.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they're doing a good job over there at giving me good stuff. I just got to figure it out in the driver department a little bit more. But they gave me a really good car, and so hopefully when there aren't pros racing, I can go out there and dominate the field and get me a couple ones this week.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what you can do later this week, bringing home a couple W's, hopefully for your guys. But congratulations on the top 3 tonight. Great race.
All right. Thank you.
All right, that was Joe Armstrong, our 3rd place finisher. Great run from him tonight in the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split. Next up, we're going to talk to Garrett Maines, who finished in the 2nd place position. He should be standing side by side with Sheldon.
Hey, how's it going, Garrett? Long time no see, buddy.
I was hoping to be the last one pulled in for this interview, but man, I just went back and watched. It was 27, 28, 29. That battle is... Looking back, there's definitely some things I could have done different, but man, I felt like I gave up the race really on that pit entry. I hadn't really done much practice for this. I had about 40 minutes in, and I did not practice pit entry. And the point that I was given was probably the right point. I just went really hard on the brakes and got a little slower than I should have before I got to the cones. So I just gave up 2 seconds there, and I don't think I would have... had such a hard time had I caught him quicker. So I don't know. It's tough, but the battle was awesome. So I know at this point, like, I owe Nick one, or he owes me one, however you want to look at it, for last week at Talladega. So I definitely didn't want to add to the count, but I feel like we had a great battle there, and wish I'd been able to come out with it, but it was fun.
Man, that was an absolute blast to watch, and I really want to harken the point of the level of respect that you guys showed each other out there, which is impressive. You don't see that among many people on here.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely did not want to, end his race or end my race or, do anything there that, was over that line. I felt like when I got to him, he was doing a great job defending, and I mean, it would have been lovely to be able to dive it down the inside, but I just didn't have the confidence that I was going to be able to do that and not cause an incident. So I tried the outside, and he was a little wide on that move, but I mean, shoot, that's why you don't go to the outside. So I mean, I know better than to do that, but when I did try to go to his bumper on 29 down into 5, I couldn't get to him at the right time, and it knocked me sideways, and I went to hit the brakes coming up the hill and just about looped it myself. So I knew the race was kind of over at that point. I'd really tried to attack for the last 3 laps, and I had the opportunity for sure, but I needed to make a move and put a little bit more pressure on to maybe have a chance there. I feel like I was 1 notch too low there on some of those moves that I just didn't put him in a situation to really make the mistake. I kind of gave him the preferred line every time. So I guess we'll learn. I wish we came back here in the Coke Series, but this is a ton of fun. I'm glad I got to run this tonight.
Yeah, man. Thanks for putting on a good show for us, because we kind of went into this thinking it was just going to be 1-car walk-off, and you guys proved us wrong. That was really fun to watch from up here.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of, afraid that might be the case, too, because, if I'd known Ottinger was running today, I probably would have put more than, the 15 laps of practice that I had. But, I mean, shoot. This was a lot of fun. I got to give a huge shout-out to the guys at Ryco for all the work they put on this car, because, I mean, it was ready to go, and they helped me get ready for this. So shout out to them and keeping me aware of the strategy here in this race. I mean, I don't run the B car very often. This is a rare occasion. I'm like, I don't think the Cup car is going to be a massive field in the second race, so screw it. Why not go run the B car race? And I mean, it was a heck of a battle. So no disappointment from me.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you for stopping in and talking to us, and thank you for putting on a great show tonight with Ottinger, and hope you have a good rest of your week.
I appreciate it.
You guys off this week, or?
Yeah, we're off for Coke Series, but we'll be back at Charlotte next week. And also, before I go, I got to give a huge shout out also to MCU Body, Lennox, the guys at Left Court Brothers, and FGRXL for all their support as well. Almost forgot them. I went down the list, but it's not bad for 2 times in a night.
Hey, man. It's good having you on here twice. You take care, bud.
You too. Thank you.
That was our second place finisher, Garrett Maines. Unfortunately, we could not get Nick Ottinger into the Discord. He's not joined, so we're not going to be able to interview our race winner. But regardless, big congrats to Nick Ottinger, and thanks to him for putting on a hell of a show with Garrett Maines at the end of that B Open. A heck of a couple of races tonight, one from the North Wilkesboro Speedway and one from Road America. From the entire GridVision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your league broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Congratulations to Garrett Maines for winning the A Open and Nick Ottinger for winning the B Open. Tonight's races from North Wilkesboro and America. This has been Austin Strostrom alongside Sheldon Atkins and Taylor Burris. We'll see you next time on The Grid.